Welcome to the On the Edge podcast with your host, Scott Groves. Yeah, see, Teddy just saw or heard the song for the first time, but this is Scott Groves with the On the Edge podcast, and we're here with Teddy, also Volta. So let's just start there. Like, what he, she, Teddy, Volta? How are we supposed to how are we supposed to handle the next 2 hours?
Well, it's kind of both depending on what I'm wearing. So when I first walked in, I was like in dude form and basketball shorts. I could be he or she. I really don't give a fuck. Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah, you can say whatever the fuck you
Thank
want.
God. I don't really care if I'm out of drag, but if I'm in drag, it's she.
Okay.
So that's when it's Volta at that time. You can call me Volta when I'm in boy mode, but I kind of don't care at that point.
So once the dress goes on, and I'm guessing those are fake?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
fake, yeah.
So once the dress goes on and the fake boobs go on and we're in drag, then we're Volta. I'll try desperately not to refer to you as the he name, but yeah. So explain.
What part do you want me to explain?
So
There's so much to it.
You are biologically a man.
Yes, so I am biologically a man, a homosexual male, and my occupation is drag.
Okay, that's important because I think most people just assume if you're in drag, maybe that's just because you're gay and you would prefer to be a woman, but your occupation is drag queen. Is that a fair term?
Exactly, yes.
For your average middle-class, weird, suburbanite white guy, this is all new to me, so if I say something offensive, if somebody's watching the recording and I say something offensive, just get over it. I'll figure it out. We're here to learn.
I'll just throw a tit at you. It'll be fine.
Perfect. Throw a fake titty at me and we'll be fine. All right, so drag is your profession. Explain.
Yes, it is my full-time job. So I, pre-COVID, would run shows throughout Southern California. I run a burlesque show that's male and female and drag queens all wrapped up into one. And I produce and market and host that entire show. And then I also have a full drag show in the Valley. What is that? North Hollywood. And that's a full drag show. So it's a bunch of drag queens. We all lip sync and dance around and steal money from people. So that's that. And then I also host like bingos, and so people come to the bars, or at least now in COVID, they're like virtual bingos. So we play bingo, they get prizes, it's super goofy and a lot of fun. So I just kind of produce shows and dance around in women's clothing.
So if I see you at the gas station or we run into each other at Costco, are you Volta? Are you Teddy? Are you in men's clothes, women's clothes? Does it matter? Or?
Men's clothes.
Men's clothes. Okay.
For the most part. I have like some eclectic styles, but it's always in like boy mode and I'm wearing some drapey black fabric or something. But I'm never like running around in a dress and a wig just for shits and giggles.
All right. So the fake lashes and all the stuff that makes you Volta, that's really just your job. Like I would put on a suit to go to the bank if I worked at a bank. This is just the profession.
Yes.
And of course, because I work in mortgages and finance and stuff like this, and this immediately where my mind goes, does it pay well?
It can. It really can if you know how to market yourself correctly. And networking is very big. So you're networking with other people who run shows, try to get into their shows, get those booking fees, making your drag good enough to extend your booking fee to make it higher. And depending on what numbers you're performing, you can make really good tips. If you're going to do 4 ballads in one night, you're not going to make very much money. But if you're doing a bunch of power stuff and a bunch of things people are going to like, you can easily make $300 in a show.
Okay, you have to define all of that stuff. so go ahead, start from there when I light up a cigar. Explain to me the economy of the drag queen profession.
So the way at least I work in my form of business is I always have a booking fee. So for me to show up anywhere, I have a booking fee that is normally, depending on the venue, is between like $150 to $200. And that's just for me to show up and drag. And perform. I mean, I'll perform either way kind of thing. And that booking fee can come from either the show producer, if they're running it, or the event or the venue. So the bar can pay me, the event can pay me, or if the producer is the one that runs the money, the producer will pay me that performance fee. Other than that, while I'm performing, it's kind of like a petting zoo, I guess. People can tip you, so they just like hand out $1.
I would prefer strip club instead of petting zoo.
I was totally about to do that.
I would much more prefer to think of you as like a hot chick who's getting ones versus like a petting zoo animal. So we'll go with strip club. Is that a fair assessment?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
I specifically did not wear too slutty of an outfit today because I didn't want to make your wife jealous.
All right. So on our and by the way, before the camera started rolling, my wife was pinning up Volta and making sure that everything was nicely accessorized. So we'll have you come back in a couple episodes and we'll do the more slutty stripper version of Volta. Is that okay?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Perfect. All right. So go on with the economy of being in the drag queen ecosystem.
So, as a show producer, depending on the venue and how the show is ran, is where the money comes from. So with my burlesque show, for example, we have a cover charge and people have to pay for that, and there's raffles, and that's where our income comes to disperse between the performers and the host. With my actual drag show, it's coming from bar sales. So if I meet certain amounts at bar sales, I get that money, and then I disperse that to the girls as I see fit.
So this is just like being a cover band, right? Like most cover bands that play, you know, the white trash bars that I've been to in my day, from especially growing up in the Army. It's like, you know, they show up, they get $100 to play, and they get a percentage of the door. They get, 10% of the bar sales or something like that. So if they can keep you there longer and drinking, it's better for them.
Exactly. And a huge part of running shows and being like a show producer and host is really facilitating bar sales. You want to get people to get fucked up because the bar makes more money and they tend to tip you more. So the drunker they are, it's no longer $1, it's now a 20 that you're getting. And they're sticking it in my tits, and it's fantastic.
Awesome. So are you going to like the local Applebee's, or is this gay bars only, or where is the ecosystem of drag shows?
The majority is gay bars and clubs. My burlesque show is actually held in an American Legion post.
This is amazing. As an ex-military guy, I would love to show up on a Thursday night thinking I'm going to like commune with a bunch of Vietnam vets and be like, no, it's drag queen night. All right, cool. I'm in. I'll try.
Oh, it's great. And since it's my burlesque show, it's mainly biological women that are performing. So they do get like, I don't want to say their rocks off because they're not actually touching themselves, but it is enjoyable for them. And then I get to make fun of them, and they find it funny because it is in a safe environment for them. So it does expose them to a homosexual drag queen in a non-threatening, humorous, alcoholic-filled way. And it's actually really great. There was a time when we've been doing the show there for about 2 years, and there is a regular there that did not like me. He wanted nothing to do with a queen running around in his home bar. And I went to go help break something down, and he flat out called me a faggot. And I was like, oh, we're doing that today.
Yeah,
okay,
because you're
cool.
a pretty big, well, currently a gal, but you're a pretty big dude when you walked in here.
Yeah, I'm 6'1".
Yeah.
And then I'm in heels, and then I'm like 6'7". And a little buzzed, so I was ready to like pop off quickly. But I was like, no, I like working here, so I'm just going to go tell the bartender. Well, the bartender told what do they call it, like a lieutenant or something? Whoever like runs that
There you go.
Legion.
Lieutenant, general, whatever the hell they're called.
Something like the chancellor. I don't know, something like that. And they actually kicked the guy out because they like what we do, and we bring the bar money. And I did nothing wrong. So they're like, you are allowed to be here when the show's not happening. But the show's happening, you can't be here. And I felt really like loved. I was like, oh, they'll like keep me here and kick his ass out. Party.
That's awesome. So, what's funny is like if I were to think, and by the way, the entire extent of my drag queen knowledge comes from either To Wong Fu with Love, with Patrick Swayze, the movie, which apparently we'll get to that in a minute, or, a couple times that my gay realtor friends have dragged me to Drag Queen Bingo. So is the environment, because like you said, you're doing it at VFW, some are mixed shows where there's biological women, biological male. Is the audience normally straight, gay, bi, trans, in between? Like I know there's like 55 genders now. So
the Alphabet Mafia.
The Alphabet Mafia, exactly, right. Like Chappelle just did it so well, right, with the Alphabet Mafia.
Right.
So who is the normal attendee of this show that's sticking the ones in your boobies?
Depending on the venue. If it's in a gay bar, it tends to primarily be gay men, unless it's like a Hamburger Mary's. They tend to have more bachelorette parties and more straight females. Straight men don't really go to drag shows very often, unless it's in a venue that they already go to. Like I've done a show at Idle Hour, which is a straight bar, and they were there and they loved it for the most part. Of course, I get a bunch of weird looks, but I'm pretty used to that at this point.
Yeah, and what is the... I guess, again, going back to the economics, I always think it's funny that guys go to a strip club to look at a bunch of half-naked chicks who aren't going to go home with them. And so what is the patronage, or what is the economics, or what is the draw of somebody saying, you know what, I really like what I saw here in this performance, I'm going to tip you? Like what is it? Is it your dancing? Do you sing? Do you, I'm trying to think of like, all right, I show up, cool, I'm a pretty heavy tipper, like in most environments. What did I see at this drag show that I'm like fascinated by, that I want to tip the performer?
Most people just love the fact that we even showed up. So the makeup's on, the hair's done, the outfits are perfect. Normally nails, but I'm not wearing nails. But that alone tends to get tips. Like I could walk around and make money just by standing there, because I put all this work into looking like this for all of you. And then while performing, if I'm dancing hard, or I'm lip syncing perfectly, or I'm really embodying the song and kind of move the audience in a way, whether it's happy emotions, sad emotions, whatever I'm trying to portray, then they end up tipping. Or it's just because I'm there.
Nice. So this is kind of like, in my mind, this is kind of like an old school 1970s like variety show, like they used to have on TV, where there's a little bit of comedy, there was a little bit of lip syncing, there was a little bit of this. It was just really to make you feel good.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We're really there to just entertain you and have a good time. I mean, if you go to a comedy show and there's 5 comics that are doing their set, it's the exact same thing. We're just not actually speaking. We're lip syncing other people's music. But that's why you go. It's to be entertained by whatever the fuck we put on that stage.
Nice. There's no weird like slam poetry or like vagina monologues or anything like this. Like it's fun.
I've seen it happen, and I didn't book her again.
Yeah, I'm not tipping that person. I don't need a political agenda if I'm just there to watch some men dressed as women singing, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Okay. So you mentioned at the outset that you are gay.
Yes.
Gay male. Are all drag queens gay males? Are they people that would prefer that they were women? Are they people that transition to be women? Like, I know this gets very cloudy, especially for me who doesn't live in the environment. So what are most drag queens? How would they identify?
I mean, the majority would be cisgendered men. So cisgendered is biological men. So 90% of the time it is biological men that are biological gay men that are drag queens. I do know a good handful of straight men that do drag.
Shut the fuck up.
I do. Yes.
There's straight men who would prefer to go to bed with my wife, who are just like, I just enjoy dressing up as a woman and making tips, singing Barbra Streisand songs.
Yeah, pretty much. It's an expression. It's art. It's
Are they really straight, or are they kidding themselves like wink, wink, nod, nod, after a few drinks, they're going home with you or Chris?
Oh, they're totally straight. I have tried with one of them because he gets really hot out of drag, but no, he's married, has kids, and is just an amazing performer. He specializes in celebrity impersonations.
Okay.
So he does do like Barbara and Judy Garland and really embodies them and looks like them. So it's more of an acting challenge and more of an acting performance than it is anything that has to do with sex.
Interesting. I mean, I guess it makes sense because if you go back a few hundred years, women weren't even allowed to act. So like men would have to portray women in plays and, you know, definitely Shakespearean times. But I think there's there's a movie Tombstone where they're like doing a Western movie, and it's, you know, probably mid 1800s, and like the traveling troupe comes into town to do a play, and the men have to act as women. So less than 200 years ago, women weren't allowed to act, and it was men. So I guess that makes sense, but that seems so foreign to me that like a straight dude who I would know would be like, yeah, Tuesday night, man, I'm dressing up in drag and singing Lady Gaga songs. This is very interesting to me.
Oh, and I find it hilarious. I think it's very funny when straight men do it because I'm like, you are doing this quite well. I can kind of, just because I've been doing it for so long, I've been doing drag for about 10 years. And there is a slight performance difference when they're straight, just a little bit. And most people wouldn't be able to clock it, but there's just certain gestures and mannerisms that aren't quite clicking. Right. Unless like the particular one that I was talking about that does the impersonations because he was really embodying them. But some of the other ones I know, they're very good. But they're not as good.
So there is, I'm sure I'm going to get canceled or somebody's going to leave a bad review when I say this, but there is a gay vibe versus a straight vibe that you see come through either the performance or the embodiment or something. You can tell.
Yes, mildly.
Mildly. Oh, this is interesting. But to the untrained eye of Scott Groves, I would not be able to tell.
Not a fucking clue.
No clue. Okay. So I guess this begs the question for probably some of my audience that are watching in the middle of, I don't know, North Carolina, Alabama, kind of conservative. Does this mean that you would prefer to be a woman?
Oh, God, no.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely not.
So there's no desire to like get things snipped and tucked and no. Surgically changed?
This is fully a job. It's just a performance art that I happen to make money off of.
Got it.
I would never. There was a time when like in my brain I thought, could I be trans? And it was more of just me realizing, no, it's just a job and I really like my job. It never crossed that line.
Got it. And even defining trans these days will probably get both of us in trouble, even though you're a gay male and I'm a straight male. Is trans defined by somebody who just feels I'm a man and I should be a woman, or vice versa? Or do we only give that classification to people that dress up as women, or do we only give that classification to people who have surgically changed? Like, what's the acceptable terminology if somebody classifies themselves as trans or they want to be considered trans?
It's very individual, so it's for that person's own journey. So if there is a person who is born male or female and they feel that they are the opposite gender, then they're trans. And that's just what it is. And it's however they feel. It's however they want to identify as. At that point, it's none of our business. Because it's how they want to be represented, how they feel on the inside. And they're 100% allowed to do that. And so I don't really ever really question that because it's not my journey to feel, it's theirs.
Because it'd be weird if you were like, so did you cut it off yet or not? Because that's how I would define it medically, I guess. But yeah, if somebody wants to be a chick or somebody wants to be a dude and they're older and their mind is formed, like, who cares?
As long as you're not committing crimes, I don't give a fuck what you do.
Like, that's very much the libertarian mindset. By the way, the Gaston flag up here on the hat. This is where I feel like so many, I'll say conservative people, although that's probably not the right term, but some term farther to the right of society. It's like, why do you guys really care? All right? Like honestly, you know?
That's what drives me crazy. I mean, in the Bible, it says, love thy neighbor. Why are you being an ass? Like, you were literally going against your own religion when you're using it against us because God didn't condone gays. Well, if you actually know how that was originally written, it was pedophiles, and then it was changed in, like, what, the 40s, that they turned it into being gay. Like, it wasn't anything about being gay until, like, the 40s. So I'm like,
yeah, I could
leave
care
me
less.
alone.
I don't even think most people realize my assistant here is gay, but now we outed him, I guess, on the podcast.
You're gay? Oh, my God.
He likes to say he's a gay.
I'm so sorry.
No, but, you know, in fairness, and I think I can say this to you because we're pretty open here, like, we had the kids sleep at grandma's tonight, you know, because we were doing the podcast, and I'm like, oh, I don't really want to answer the questions of, like, why this dude's putting on a dress and why do they wear makeup, and my son is already fascinated by, hey, Dad, why, and my son's 4, by the way, for context, my son's like, hey, Dad, you married a girl, but one day Chris is going to marry a boy. Why? And I'm like, well, because, you know, he just believes something different than we do. And he is attracted to different people than your mom and dad is. And he's just so fascinating. I don't even know where that came up. He must have just overheard. Your mic is off. But
I've never said a word to your children about anything homo.
Yeah, I must have said in passing because I could care less.
I know right now I look homeless, but like...
No, but I think in passing one time you went to Mexico for a month to hang out with your boyfriend. I was like, oh yeah, you know, Chris is on vacation with his boyfriend. And I'm sure my 4-year-old son like didn't put 2 and 2 together at the time, but then he was like, heard somebody else talk about boyfriend, and then boyfriend's getting married. And then he's like, wait a minute, Daddy married a woman. And Chris is going to marry a man. So now every time Chris comes over, he asks the question. And I didn't feel like having those conversations right now. Or I didn't feel it was age appropriate to have those conversations. So I'm like, we'll just let the kids sleep at grandma's house just in case they see Teddy turn into Volta. But that doesn't mean that you can't just be like, hey, this is just this person's choice. That's what they're into.
And really, for me, at least in that context, it's his job. He's a party clown. Like, that's fully what I do practically, is I'm a party clown. Bring me in, book me, I'll pay you, and entertain me. Or you pay me, and I'll entertain you.
So that's really how you consider it. Like, you're putting on the wig and the makeup and the costume, and then I'm just going to work and making a few bucks.
Yeah.
Interesting. So are there people in your world who this is their outlet to feel more like a woman because they wish they were like a woman?
Yes.
Does that exist? Tell me about that.
So that's the interesting thing about drag, is that a lot of people forget that it's just a job. And then there's being transgender, being non-binary. You can be any of those particular things. If you don't know what non-binary is that they just don't really express what gender they feel. They're on a spectrum of gender instead of being just a guy or just a girl or trans, flipping it. It's a whole spectrum for them. And so that's a separate thing than your occupation. So I know plenty of trans performers that are like male to female. So now they live their lives as women, and they're gorgeous women, whatever. And then they also perform as a drag queen. So their makeup's a bit more dramatic. They wear wigs. They have the glitzy costumes and everything because that's their job. That's not their life.
Interesting. This is so fascinating to me. I was reminded of the joke, like, people can be whatever they want. I'm like, yes, the most beautiful women in the world are Thai boys. And I don't mean Thai children boys. I mean Thai over 18. So before I get canceled for that comment, but yeah, the community over there is interesting. So what 10 years ago when you started this, what prompted you to say, I'm a gay man who likes other men, cool, but I'm a dude? Like, you walked in, you were a dude, like you said, basketball shorts, Nikes, whatever. What made you decide, like, oh, you know what would be an interesting profession is dressing up like a woman?
So I grew up in a very, I'm born and raised Buddhist, so it was a very easy childhood when it came to being gay. Like, when I came out of the closet, my mom was like, I'm so happy you came to terms with it. Can we go eat? Nice. Like, they already knew it was easy.
By the way, we all knew way before Chris knew. Even my mom, because I've known Chris since he was 2 years old. And actually, I knew him since he was born because I was his older brother's best friend growing up since kindergarten. When he came out, my mom was like, fuck, thank God, finally. Everybody else knew.
I just really wanted to get my Eagle Scout.
So anyway, 10 years ago, you start this journey.
So my sister also owned a dance company, and she opened her dance company the same year that my dad passed away, and I was 6 years old. And so my mother and my sister thought it would be very smart to put me in my sister's dance classes to kind of not distract me, but I mean, like, get me productive and not sitting in the house dwelling on whatever. And so I started dancing with my sister's company, and it stuck. So I danced from 6 to about 23, and many of those years was professionally. And I went to college for dance, so I was already a performer early on, and I was in choirs in high school and everything. So I was already very comfortable performing. And since I wasn't such a welcoming family, I came out of the closet when I was 12. So it was very early. We started going to pride parades and everything. So I knew what drag was at a very young age, middle school-ish. I knew what it was. And when I was younger, I always used to love dancing around the living room in my sister's dresses. Not because I wanted to be a girl. I liked how it flowed. So I'd like spin in skirts and shit. And once I turned 21 and got to see like my first real drag show at a bar, I was like, I need to do this. Because not only do I get to perform and entertain the audience and dance, do what I'm like bred to do, I also get to wear flowy fabrics and dance around. Like, I get to do everything that I've wanted to do while getting hammered for free.
Perfect. So, we talked about this before you came on. I was like, hey, is any topic, off the camera, or is there anything that you don't want to go into? And you're like, no, ask me anything. I don't really care. So I know what the skeptics, the haters, the homophobes are saying right now, right? They're rolling their eyes after your story of like, oh, well, his dad died and mom put him in dance, so he was made gay. No one comes out of the closet at 12 years old and knows their sexuality. Spoiler alert, I knew I wanted to sleep with girls at 12, 13 years old. So I wouldn't judge anybody for knowing what they want to sleep with at preteen, teenage years. But what would you say to those people, or maybe you have a strong opinion that people are either born gay, they're made gay, it's environment versus nurture, it's whatever. But I know there's some people listening right now like, oh, of course, this dude's dad died at 6 and then his mom put him in dance, so of course he was going to be a fag, right? Like somebody will say some really offensive shit like that, or we'll get a nasty comment, or somebody will tune off, fuck those people. But what is your take on nature versus nurture versus you're just biologically, that's just how you were made, versus the influence of maybe only growing up in a female household? Like, does any of that ever cross your mind, or could you care less?
I get this frequently, and I wouldn't say it drives me crazy, but, well, when it is negative like that, when it is, oh, it's because your dad died that you're gay, I'm like, A, fuck off. B, my mother told me that they had a conversation before he passed, way before he passed, that I'm most likely going to be gay. And they told my siblings that he's probably going to be gay. He might just be artistic. We'll just let him figure it out. My father knew I was gay before he died, before I came out. They all knew. I mean, I was dancing to Tina Turner in the living room in an unbuttoned onesie. Like, it was going to happen. Like, there's no way around it. So I'm definitely a firm believer that it's 100% born that way. That's what you are. And I really believe that everybody on this planet is on that spectrum of gay, bi, straight, somewhere in there. Everybody has some form of interest. Even if you can look at another guy and be like, he's a good-looking guy, that's on the spectrum. And my upbringing had nothing to do with me liking dudes.
Yeah.
It facilitated it easily, but like...
You could have grown up with a coal miner family in Pittsburgh, even though there's no coal mines anymore in Pittsburgh, but hypothetically, and at some point you would have discovered, this is just who I am. This is how I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my uncle... he's way past now, and he probably would be in 99 or something at this point. But he was one of the only other family members that I had was gay, and he didn't come out until his 40s. He was married, had a kid, was in the military, went to Nam, like did all this shit, and didn't come out till way late. And I don't really know if he knew and just decided to wait, or if he didn't figure it out till way late in life. But he was married, had kids, and full-on military, big old dude, and just... he was gay. It happened. And it was also in like the 60s. So
yeah,
a little bit of a different time.
Yeah, I have a very close uncle, probably my favorite family member, who moved with his, I call him husband, although I don't know if they were ever legally married, moved with his husband from Pittsburgh in the 80s, because it was still not a very accepting place, out to Vegas, out to LA, where it was more accepting. And I remember as a really young child learning what gay meant, because I went out with my grandmother and my uncle, And apparently I made fun of him at lunch, and he was mortified because I was like, hey, Uncle Augie, why do you drink your drink like this with your pinky up in the air? Or, I just asked some inquisitive, dumbass question as like an 8 or 9-year-old. He was mortified. Grandma didn't know what to say. Like, what the fuck? This is so weird. How do we have a conversation? And so I went back, and I remember my dad talking to me that night about like some men like men and some men like women, and your uncle likes men. And that's why, his roommate is always with him. And then, as I got older in life, it was very clear that my uncle was born gay. That's how he is. But then his partner, who was like the most manly man ever, ex-Navy, he looked like the Marlboro Man, smoked a pack a day, leather jacket, just a fucking man's man. He would always joke. He joked with me several times, not in front of his partner. He's like, oh no, I'm not gay. I just fell in love with a dude. And I'm like,
Yep.
no, I'm pretty sure you're gay. But it was funny to see the spectrum of like my uncle, who's more, I would say, effeminate, and just clearly lived his whole life gay, was a hairdresser, and then, moved out to Vegas to be more accepting, versus his partner, who I love to death, and he passed sadly a few years back, who was just like, nah, I'm just a dude who happened to fall in love with a dude. And I'm like, well, I don't know if that's true, but it was just weird how it's a very, very different take on things, and I'm just always wondering what people's feeling is. So you don't think that dance made you gay, huh?
No, not at all. I was dancing in the living room way before I was ever in a dance class. I thought I was the best Tina Turner impersonator at like 4 years old.
And so how does one get started? You're 21, you see this, you're like, I'm going to do that, right? I imagine there's a little bit more art to it than just putting on a dress and lip syncing to Tina Turner.
I'll have to show you pictures of what I looked like when I first started. So what ended up happening, I think it was a Pride. It was Colorado Pride. Or Denver Pride, and I was already friends with a bunch of queens, and I finally was like, I want to try it. Like, it's one of the nights at Pride where we're going to go out, we're going to have fun. Stick me in drag. So one of my drag friends put me in drag. Not well. The makeup was crusty. But I borrowed a wig. I bought, like, the whole outfit. I bought my own makeup, not knowing how shitty, like, Walgreens makeup is, but it's a thing. And she helped me get in drag, did the whole thing. We ended up having a fantastic time, and I was like, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. Like, I love this. And that was before I even performed, because I already knew I was going to love the performing side because I performed for so many years. And yeah, we just went out and gallivanted around, and I looked a fucking wreck. Just a damn wreck. In a blonde bob, this like metallic silver corset, black leggings, and heels that only strippers in Reno wear.
Like, you're the worst chick ever.
The worst. I wasn't padded. I wasn't cinched. I barely had tits in. I was just a beanpole and a wig dancing around to fucking Lady Gaga drinking vodka. It was awful. But it was the like best time of my life. And I was like, this is what I'm going to do. And it took me a long time to eventually look at least presentable. But I sure tried. I sure did.
I'm guessing you didn't grow up doing makeup with mom or learning all those finer points of dressing like a woman. You got to figure this all out in your 20s, right?
Yes. Luckily enough, I had a lot of good skills makeup-wise. Through high school, I did like the musicals and stuff, so I already kind of knew the basics of makeup. But I also worked in haunted houses, and I picked up a lot of tips and tricks from like the monster makeup. And I got really, really good at that. And so I started helping in haunted houses after high school. And I worked in haunted houses for like 7 years doing zombies and creatures. And so I was already working in makeup, just not glamour makeup. I was just creating things. But so I already knew basic tips and tricks of blending and application. So once I started doing my own face for glamour looks, it was pretty easy to know what to use and how to use it. It was just figuring out where to put it and what direction I should go with it.
So I think we might have just created a new business. How do we do a drag queen haunted house?
Oh, I have friends that would be so down for this. You have no idea.
So, hopefully COVID is gone by October 31st of 2021, and we could do a drag queen haunted house, and then you could put all your makeup skills to work. I feel like we could really charge top dollar for gay and straight men to be scared shitless by zombie drag queens.
Oh, yeah. I used to work in one of the haunted houses in drag. And I would stand
Chris,
in this
you got to write
bathroom.
this down, man. This is $1 million idea.
Oh, easily, especially because we already are like actors.
Right.
Because my personality outside of drag is not this loud. So I was working in this haunted house, and I was always stationed in this bathroom in this long Victorian dress. I had a wig. I had like the zombie-esque female makeup on. And I would ask people, tell me I'm pretty. tell me I'm pretty. And then I'd scream in like my deep voice, and they'd freak out because then they'd realize I was a dude, and it would freak them out so much more. That was hilarious.
So you just said something that's interesting. You're not this outgoing when you're Teddy the male.
No.
So this is fascinating to me because, you know, if you look at any of those old Men's Warehouse commercials, they're like, the clothes make the man. But when you walked in here as Teddy and we got introduced, I was working on the computer doing some work. You were legitimately one person. And then when you came out of the bathroom, all dolled up and done and makeup and wig and dress and boobs and the whole 9 yards, I can say for sure you were literally a different person.
Mm-hmm.
So why does that happen, or why is that so freeing, or what's going on in your psyche that when you walked in here, you're Teddy, hi Scott, pleasure to meet you, you know, a little bit more quiet, a little bit more subdued, and then you came out and you're like, fuck yeah, I'm Volta. Like what is that?
Volta's a character. She's a show house. She's loud. She's boisterous. She has a great old time. Teddy would rather be sitting at home eating macaroni and cheese and watching TV by himself.
Yeah, you mentioned that one of Teddy's favorite things is Star Wars. I was like, thanks for coming up here for the podcast. And you're like, what else am I going to do? I'm going to watch Star Wars for the 1,000th time. And I'm like, oh, okay. You and I already have more in common than half my straight friends if you're a big Star Wars fan. So okay, this is a character. This is a persona, but it's still you.
It is. It is a different facet of me. Like, I would never say Volta is just work, I guess, because there is a particular part of me that Volta is Teddy and is the more outgoing version of Teddy, and I do put this on and I'm more outgoing and more fun, I guess. But it's not exactly even, I wouldn't say a choice. It just happens. I stick on the face and there she goes.
Interesting. I think we all have friends we can relate to where they have a couple drinks and it's the social lubricant, and then they liven up and they'll get on the dance floor, they'll sing karaoke, or they're just a more fun version of themselves. So is the outfit and the transformation, is that kind of like your 2-drink minimum where now you become a little bit more social and you have some more social lubrication?
Totally. 100%.
Oh.
One of my friends always talks about how he hates going out with Teddy, but he loves going out with Volta. And I'm like, thanks a lot, fucker. You're a fucking dick. But it is. I am more outgoing. I'm more sociable. I'm louder. I'm funnier. I'm legitimately funnier when I'm in drag. If I try to tell jokes and if I were to host a show out of drag, it wouldn't be as funny. My brain is just wired in a way that I'm in character mode and the jokes come and it's her attitude and she's a fucking cunt and it's hilarious. And then I get out of drag and I'm just sitting in the corner like twiddling on my phone, doing nothing.
So maybe some of the people that are watching right now would say, well, why aren't you Volta all the time? If that's the more real you or the more fun you or the more expressive you, maybe you're supposed to be Volta. Maybe you're supposed to be a woman. I mean, what parts of Teddy do you love being Teddy, and what parts of Volta are like, okay, it's time to turn that off and go home now for the night? Or so, you know, somebody who's listening to this might think like, oh, well, it sounds like you want to be more Volta, or you are more Volta than you are Teddy. Where are we getting that wrong or right?
It's exhausting to be turned up to 100 all the time. So if I was...
Just ask my my ex, yeah.
Well then, goodness. But yeah, it's a lot of energy to be a drag queen because you are playing this character and you're trying to be this uplifting, constant entertainment and funny, haha, jokes. And I physically wouldn't be able to do that 24/7. That's just not how my personality truly is, because that's just so much energy to try and appease an entire bar the entire time. I would never want to do that. It's just not exactly who I am. It's fun to do while I'm working because I'm working hard to keep my energy up and keep going and be the funny person. But by the time that's done, I'm done. I'm taking off the wig. It's no longer funny. I'm sitting in the corner. Leave me alone.
Right.
I'm drained. It's exhausting.
So if somebody walks up to you, you know, post-show, catches you in the parking lot, rah, I'm drunk, I want to be funny, give me a little Volta, there's a good chance they're catching like a right hook to the jaw, right? Because you're like, just leave me alone. I'm done. The wig's off. It was just a job.
Especially if I'm still at the venue, I will do my best to kind of keep the energy going until I leave. I'll never be rude to somebody, especially if they are like a fan or liked what I did. I'll never diss them for trying to get more out of me. Like, I understand that that's like what they want. They came to see me. They came to do all that stuff. Even if the show's done, I'm still going to keep going and doing it. But But yeah, at a certain point, I'm like, okay, I gotta go. Like, I have to leave the bar, otherwise I'm gonna be turned up to 10 the entire time. And I never want to be rude to somebody that I'm like, fuck off, I'm tired. But that's really how I feel at times. I'm like, I gotta go. Like, I gotta leave.
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned, you have your fans. Are there like, are the people that come to these events, are they kind of passing in the night and they're one-off customers, or do like drag queens have groupies and like you got like a band, you got your core group of people that will come see you perform anywhere, anytime? They'll drive from Irvine to Los Angeles to see a Volta show. Like what is the patronage, or what are the fans like?
It's definitely a mix of both. Of course, there's people that come to the bar not expecting to see a drag show, or seeing a drag show not knowing who you are. And then there are people who are like diehard fans. Like, I have merch that people have bought and they wear. Chris has some.
Chris has some Volta
Chris has
merch.
one because one of the other t-shirts is somewhere in the depths of my car that I don't know where it is. But like, I have t-shirts and I'm working on getting pins out, and like little enamel pins and stickers and shit, just so they can have it and buy it, and I can try and make some more money during this fucking quarantine.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. I'm very anti-Governor Newsom. I'm very libertarian. Like, if a bar wants to be open and people want to come, be patrons and they're risking their health, like, I'm pretty much like live and let live. So how badly is this just fucking over your life or your economics or whatever?
I'm utterly destroyed. It has been the hardest, 9 months now?
Yeah.
10 months? Something like
just
that.
about a year. I mean, we shut down in March of last year.
Oh,
So
10 months coming up on a year.
It's utterly destroyed me because most of I'm making another drink, so
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. No. Here you go. There's some fresh ice cube.
I
We
got a
some
new
drinks.
ice cube and shit. This is so fucking fancy.
I know, we got some cranberry juice over here. And by the way, for the people that are following along, I'm still trying to polish off this bottle of Four Roses. This stuff is pretty strong. And tonight we were smoking the Liga Privada T52, which is it's kind of my classic go-to daily smoke.
sounds like a gun.
Liga Privada T52, yeah. T52 is the size, so the size matters, and Liga Privada is the brand. So
you
there
had
go.
T52.
And Volta is smoking Camel menthols, I think.
I am, and drinking vodka.
And by the way, how pissed are you that menthols are now outlawed in California?
Oh, no, it's going to be great because I need to quit smoking. So please take them away so I don't have access to them, because I don't want to die from lung cancer, but I also can't stop smoking.
Okay, perfect. So that'll be good. So whoever passes the law that you can't smoke menthols, you're saving Volta's life. Thank
I'm
you.
totally fine with it.
Perfect. So yeah, the last 10 months have destroyed you. I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm not surprised. So yeah, because all of your money comes from live events, I'm guessing.
Everything does. And a good majority of it is either like 1099 independent contractor or under the table. I get paid cash very frequently. So unemployment was...
You said it at the table. I thought maybe there's something else there going on.
Don't tempt me with a good time, sir.
There we go. All right. So live events gone, obviously, in California.
Completely gone. So I'm not getting unemployment because I wasn't paying into unemployment. And last time I had, I call it a muggle job, but when I had like a normal human job, after I left that, I used my unemployment. So I had none going into this. And no stimulus checks either. So I've literally been totally screwed by the government for the most part when it comes to this. I understand that we need to quarantine and kind of do all of this stuff so we're not passing this shit around and we can actually go back to me going to work. But I'm scraping by with like virtual shows and virtual bingo. Everything is done on the computer now that I'm also not getting paid the same. I mean, bars can't pay me because I'm not in the bar. They're not making any money, so why would they pay me, sort of thing. So everything's just self-done. So I do have like, I do a bingo every other Saturday, and nobody pays for that. They just tip me in it. I have a drag show that is all on Zoom, and they can tip me through there, but I'm not making an actual income. I'm just getting these tips, which is keeping me alive, which is great and dandy. But damn, I'm drowning. It is really rough.
I'm really sorry to hear that. And yeah, I understand. I'm constantly trying to battle and balance these two thoughts of like, yeah, I do want to protect grandma from dying, from getting COVID because somebody goes their thing. And by the way, people can hear the background noise. We record this in my garage. My dog's going crazy. I think I
love your dog so much.
Yeah, my dog wants a little Volta right now. So apologize about the background noise, but it is what it is. And I'm trying to balance these thoughts where you're like, yeah, I want to protect people and I want to be safe and I want to be a good citizen and whatnot. But I also know everybody from the drag queen to the restaurant owner to the waiter to the profession you can't even think about is just devastated. Like, let people open up and make their own life decisions, and the chips fall where they fall, because I want you to be able to have a job. You want to sing Lady Gaga songs and make tips to pay your rent? This is what I think should happen, and so I'm very sorry that you're dealing with that. And yeah, it's I don't have a whole lot more to say about that. It's just brutal.
It's crazy.
Have you heard from any of the bars or any of the showcases that you perform at when a potential return to work date is?
Most of the bars that I work for are very strict, so they're even watching our social medias to make sure that we're not doing stupid stuff. So when we do open again, we're allowed back, which I understand. They want to keep staff and patrons safe and everything. So I keep tabs on the places that I've had shows pre-COVID, and there's no agenda to when there's going to be an opening, because we're just waiting for the go-ahead. And even then, I know one of the bars that I work at probably will still wait a little while just to make sure that everything's safe and it's not going to get worse, because we've already had many people pass, and it's been a very devastating year. I've had at least 17 people pass this year.
Oh, so sorry to hear that.
It's insane. It's just the craziest thing. I've almost gotten numb to death at this point, because I wake up in the morning, I'm like, okay, who's dead now? Like,
brutal.
It's crazy. So I really want it over with, and I will still be rather staunch in what I do to keep myself and everybody around me safe. Like, in November was my mom's 70th birthday, and my family's in Colorado, and I didn't
your mom's
go back.
70?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you don't look that old. Or your mom maybe had a child later in life.
Guess how old I am?
Let's see. When you walked in here, I would have guessed 32, 33, somewhere in there.
I'm 29.
Oh, okay.
Close.
So your mom had children later in life.
According to her, I was the happy accident. So yes, my brother is 51. My sister will be 50 this year, and then I have another sister that's 37.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you were the happy whoops.
I was 100% the happy whoops. And sorry if they're listening, but my mom has fully told me that I'm her favorite. So
Nice.
sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, I've got a buddy whose name is Chance, and I was like, hey, that's a unique name. Like, why did your parents come up with the name Chance? And he's like, well, because they told me it was a nicer name than Mistake. I was like, that is a good story, because, yeah, he was a later in life baby to people that already had their families. They got divorced. They got married. They're like, no more kids. We're going to do this thing. And then they're like, oh, whoops. And
Oh, dear.
Like, yeah, can't name him Mistake, so we'll name him Chance.
No wire hanger here.
Brutal. So brutal. So what does it look like for you and your community right now to survive and make ends meet? I mean, are you Ubering? Are you licking postage stamps and trying to make money on the side? Like what is your community doing to stay afloat right now?
It's very up to the individual. A lot of people have gone back into the regular workforce, trying to get regular jobs. For me, it's particularly difficult because on my resume, I've been quote unquote unemployed for like 4.5 years, because I've been doing this full time for about 4.5 years. So on a resume, I'm like, yeah, I'm a promoter and marketer of entertainment on my resume, but they're like, what is that? I'm like, well, I'm a drag queen. So like, you can't really put that on a resume, especially because I live in Orange County and it's a bit more conservative in that area. So it's a little more difficult. So I've been trying to find a job outside of drag, and it's very difficult. I'm also very picky at what I would like to be doing, because I'm not going back to a grocery store. I'm not doing like fast food or anything like that. I was an optician before I did drag full time, and I'm not certified, so it's hard to find another one of those jobs.
Right.
But yeah, I'm trying my best. But I'm also still trying to keep drag alive and drag the art of it alive and the entertainment for especially the gay community alive, because a lot of people need us as entertainment and kind of an escape from reality. So I keep trying to keep these shows going for everybody else's sanity, let alone mine.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I sent a message today to a group of men who I'm friendly with, and I was like, hey, at the risk of sounding like a hippie, I just want to say thank you guys, because we kind of at the beginning of COVID, pure dumb luck, created this little tribe of men that like, hey, we're going to be safe, and we value our physical and mental health above the fears of COVID. So we're going to close the drapes and have an incognito jiu-jitsu gym. And thank God, because if it wasn't for that group of men being able to go work out with them, and yeah, I get
that was the straightest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, but it's weird that like my mental health is predicated on getting choked out by other men, right? So you can see that's a little.
I mean, I know exactly what that feels like.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I get it.
I'm shocked that there's not more gay men in jiu-jitsu. It's like a bunch of like mostly tone. I'm the fattest guy there, just rolling around trying to choke each other out. So, but I told him, I'm like, hey, if it wasn't for you guys and being able to bring my Chris is like trying to light
Fucking rude.
Yeah, Chris is trying to light the office on fire. If it wasn't for you guys letting me bring my kids here and get a workout and like have the camaraderie, like my mental health would fucking suck. Like I love my wife. I love the two women that work for me that I see fairly often because we're very quarantined. But it's like, I need some dude time, right? And I'm sure there's some people out there in the gay community that need camaraderie with other men in the gay community or men dressed up as women and drag queens. Like that has to be an important part of mental health.
Oh, yes. I do have a set of friends that particularly at the beginning of quarantine, I quarantined at their house for 2 months because I live alone and I was like, won't survive this very well by myself. And so I quarantined there for like 2 months and then got sick of them and went back home. But I'm there probably like a week out of the month, every month, just to have some form of social interaction. And we're all safe in quarantine for the most part and tested. Oh, God, I've been tested so many times. I've had more things up my nose than ever before.
I wasn't sure where that was going, so I'm glad it finished up your nose. But yeah, and so how are you doing it right now? You said you're keeping the art alive. Is there Zoom drag? Because I'm guessing it doesn't come across quite the same as a performance art on Zoom, 2-dimensional. Like, what are you doing to keep things alive?
Almost everything that I do is on Zoom. So, and we're not doing quote unquote live performances. We're doing pre-recorded numbers. So they're like music videos that we're playing. And us as queens, we are fucking crafty creatures. And we have learned how to be music video producers and use green screens and edit videos and inlay the music on top of it and come up with concepts that'll be good as a music video that would be funny enough that people would want to tip. And so these shows I'm hosting through Zoom. You see me on Zoom and whatever, and then I'm playing videos from my computer and sharing the whole screen so everybody can watch it. And then after the number's done, I pull up their Venmo and with like little QR codes, so then they can just scan it and tip us if they want. And it works. It's fine. It's keeping me alive. It is not the same by any means.
Right.
Considering a good chunk of my performances is the social interaction with the audience. So if I'm doing some form of like sexy ass number, I'm going to molest you a little bit, but right. I can't do that when there's nobody there. So it's gotten very interesting. I also still do the bingo through Zoom. And so I have the bingo cage in my house and I'm calling bingo through Zoom, and prizes are non-existent because there's not a budget. I'm not even prizing myself with normal people food, let alone like prizes for other people. And it's just for fun. It's just for an escape and trying to entertain people and stay relevant.
Well, I commend you for doing that because I'm sure just like in every community, whether it's the veteran community or the CrossFit community or the church community, there's a lot of human beings out there that are missing connection. And, you mentioned losing a lot of people. Ironically, the demographic that I live in or whatever the case may be, I don't know anybody who's died of COVID. But sadly, I know 3 people have taken their own life in the last 10 months because they're missing that community. And I don't care if your community, like I said, is, Vegans Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous or CrossFit or church or the drag community or the Bullet Bar or whatever. People need that shit, man. They need connection. We're tribal beings.
Oh yeah.
And how much of your shows are that tribal being? Because I'm guessing, and correct me if I'm wrong, is it like a strip club where it's sexual and like you said, you're grinding up against them and you're getting them excited to see a man in women's clothes? Is it that, or is it more tribal and community, or what's the allure? What's the allure for Chris to come every week to your show?
It's fully like tribal community. It's just coming together, being entertained, having an escape from the mundane, and just having a good time. If I'm doing some slutty ass song, yeah, I'm totally going to act a little slutty on it, but that's not the purpose of the song. It's straight up entertainment.
Nice. So you've never like hooked up with one of your patrons?
I totally have.
Oh, of course we have. Every guy I know thinks they have some story about going home with a stripper. I think 99% of them are fake. But so you have made a love connection at your show before.
I mean, I wouldn't really say love, but sure. Especially if the bar goers at the show tend to be a bit more on the straight side, it is for sure happened.
Really? So you're getting some people to switch hit.
They're the ones that start it. I'm like not seeking it out, but if they're like, hey, come back to my place, I'm like, sure, why the fuck not? You're hot. Let's do it.
I've got a realtor friend, and it was like his life's goal. He is gay. It was his life's goal to switch me for 2 years. And I'm like, I promise, I'm just not into it. He's like, no. I used to live in San Diego. I'd hang out with a bunch of the Navy guys because I'm ex-military. I know you ex-military, or I'm like, no, not this one. Like, just not into it. It was his life's work for 2 years to change me. And then when I didn't switch teams, he was disappointed. And now I don't get any referrals from him. It's so sad.
Well, it happens.
It happens. So what are you most looking forward to when you go back to shows?
All the new shit that I bought during fucking quarantine. Like when it first started, I went on like a fucking bender buying new dresses and wigs and shit. I don't know why. It's because I had like the time and at the time money. So I was like, sure, let's do it. And so now I have all these like new outfits and stuff to show that I can like I've shown through videos, but it's just not the same. I'm excited to see people. I haven't had like a normal human hug in I don't know how long. And just being around like-minded humans would be very nice, and I can't wait for that. And just getting hammered in public, it's fun.
I get it. Tell me about the like-minded humans. Like, what do you find, communal about the group? Is it the same things that you're into, music, socially, politics? Like, when you say like-minded, what do you mean?
Mainly gay. Just being with a bunch of other gay people. Being in Orange County, there's not a very large gay community. There's 0 bars. I mean, I guess there's like 2 in Costa Mesa, but I don't really count those. But that's part of why I would drive all the way to like Bullet Bar or something, to be around other gay people and just be around them. I don't even need to talk to you. It's just nice to be in an area that I don't have to look over my shoulder and see who's talking shit that I'm gay or treating me a different way because I'm gay. I can just sit around the same people and not have to worry about what other people are thinking about me in that particular aspect.
It's kind of shocking to me to hear that, but not shocking at the same time. I don't know how to. I'm going to express this the wrong way, so bear with me when I get my thoughts out.
I'll get my tit out. Here we go.
Yeah, perfect. Let's go. But growing up in California, which is obviously a more progressive place to live, growing up where my dad and his best friend could have cared less. They'd always introduce each other as like, oh, this is my gay partner Bruce, this is my gay partner Randy, or they would introduce each other as parole officers, or there was something always inappropriate. To me, the thought of somebody being gay is not anything that you would talk shit about or even care about. Like when Chris comes over to work, I'm way more likely to be pissed off at the fact that he doesn't wake up till 10:30 than the fact that he's gay. So the fact that you talk about like, oh, there's still this kind of weirdness where I'm looking over my shoulder or people talking shit or whatnot, it shocks me. Like, I don't know, maybe if we were in like some ho-dunk town in like flyover state, but in California, it shocks me that that's still a thing and that's still part of your lived experience.
I can say, at least pre-COVID, because I don't really go out anywhere now, at least once a week, I'd have somebody shout something obscene to me.
Shut the fuck up.
At least once a week. Driving by, squawking faggot. They'd be saying it to my face as they walk by, doing something stupid, calling me a sissy. I'm like, catch these hands, motherfucker. Like, I'm a 6'1" guy. Don't forget that I am still male. I'll fuck you up real quickly. Like, it's shocking how frequent that happens. Oh, look, my hair's showing.
Oh, we're good. We're good. It's yeah. We couldn't have you wear any big hair today because of the headphones. So we'll get some better headphones so that next time you come in, you can go real crazy.
Don't tempt me. I got some big ones.
Perfect. I'm down. But I'm kind of appalled and shocked that that still happens. So A, I'm sorry that you have to deal with that. B, I can tell you some of my friends. And C, where the fuck do you live?
I live in Irvine.
Okay.
So I'm in Orange County. Ironically, I don't really have a problem in Orange County very much.
I was gonna say, which in Orange County, a little bit more, I would say, conservative. It's kind of like the orange wall of more conservative California, but I wouldn't say it's like some backwoods, racist, homophobic people. That's not how I would think of it. But obviously, I'm not of a alternate race or alternate sexual identity, so I don't know.
Definitely in Orange County, race is a big issue, and racism is a big issue because it is majority upper middle class white people that are on the conservative side that have those particular kind of racist values and everything. That I do see that frequently, racism frequently, and nobody shouts anything from their cars while I'm in Orange County, but I do get a lot of very crusty ass looks, specifically, ironically, from older white women. Don't like me for some reason. I'm like, why? Because I'm prettier than your daughter? Fuck off. Like, get out of my face. But even in LA, like when I lived in LA, it would happen. I used to take the train all the time, and it would happen there. And I'd be dressed in like a suit going to work, and somebody would squawk shit at me, and I'm like, you're fucking with the wrong queer. Like, I'm gonna get you. It's rough. It's very rough.
Yeah, I'm really shocked to hear that, and it just goes to show that, like, as much as I want to believe what I want to believe, and I have my, emotional and logical, maybe not logical, presets, it's like, oh no, that doesn't happen, right? Like, not all these people are racist, not all these people are that, but there's still enough that, like, people publicly feel comfortable giving you shit, and I'm sorry that that's still our experience in America.
I'm so used to it by now. It sucks. It totally does. But I brush a lot of it off because it's just not necessary for me to stress out about it because it's going to happen. I don't see any time in the near future that all of a sudden everybody's going to be totally okay with gay people. So I'm pretty used to it, and I shrug a lot of it off. If it gets me on the wrong day, I'm not going to shrug it off, and I'm probably going to hurt you. But
right. So why then do you choose to live where you live versus like, hey, I'm going to move to West Hollywood where maybe this is more accepting or there's a higher population of gay, queer, lesbian. I know I'm supposed to go through all the acronyms, but it's exhausting, so I apologize.
I get it.
Yeah, but why live in Orange County then?
Because I've experienced all that kind of stuff all over California. Okay. So it kind of doesn't matter where I'm at. It's going to happen. We had a lot of the Trump tents in Orange County where were like selling all the merchandise. So it's not like I felt safe there, but I also saw them in LA. So it's like, I know I can't walk past that tent without something happening. So it doesn't really matter where I live. It's going to happen.
So I want to dig into this a little bit because I have my own notions, and I didn't vote for Trump either time. I'm more of a libertarian. I as many people I say, wasted my vote on the third party that had no chance of winning. But I like to think, and I could be wrong, I like to think that there's plenty of people that voted for Trump because maybe they have conservative views, they hate China, they want lower taxes, whatnot, and not all Trump people or voters are racist, homophobes, whatnot. And then I also like to think like, I've met some liberals that when you close the doors or they're not on social media, all of a sudden they become homophobic, racist. They got some strong opinions of like, oh yeah, they can live there, but I wouldn't live by those people. So do you find, and I want to know what your experience is because I have my preconceived notions, but I want to know what your experience is. Do you find more often than not somebody who's going to openly be a Trump supporter is going to be anti-gay or give you grief, or do you hear it from both sides, or are you shocked where you hear negative stuff, or where is it coming from you that you feel uncomfortable?
90% of the time, Trump supporters do not like gays.
Fuck. I hate hearing that because I want to think that there's a lot of open-minded conservatives that are like, dude, I don't want high taxes. I don't want China fucking up with our intellectual property. I could care less if you fuck a dude.
But that's where there's a difference. You could be conservative and not a Trump supporter. Trump supporters are their own breed of crazy. And there's just this weird sense of entitlement to have, by all means, your own opinion, do whatever. Have your opinion. I don't give a shit. But acting upon it and thinking that it's okay to be hateful and to be hurtful and to try to tear someone down just because they can. And I don't think I've ever met a Trump supporter that was like cool. I don't want to like, cool is like a stupid term to use, but like up with the times. It's the weirdest in my entire life. It's been the weirdest thing to watch everything that has to do with Trump, because these people are just in their own world and their own set of consequences that they don't expect to see. I'm not exactly proud of it, but I've gotten into a physical altercation with a Trump supporter before because they wouldn't just let it go.
Did you win?
Have you seen this face? Of course I won.
You're a pretty big dude when you're not in drag, so...
I am, and I have years of angst and anger and turmoil to just take out on one person.
I get it.
But there's just this weird line of people being okay with expressing these hateful thoughts. And by all means, have them. I don't care. You're not my mom. I don't give a shit. But when you act upon it is when you are no longer a human. You are now a monster, and I want nothing to do with you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's totally fair. I'm interested because the little conversation that we've had, and then when you got here, feel like you're a pretty open-minded person. Feel like Chris is a pretty open-minded person. Would you be okay with somebody who says, hey, you be you, I be me, but if we're talking brass tacks, I really don't agree with your lifestyle, or maybe I don't agree that you sleep with men, or I don't agree that you dress with women. But hey, it's cool. You be you. I'm going to be me. I just disagree with your being. I mean, frankly, could that be acceptable to you? Or where does the line get crossed where you're like, fuck that dude?
Well, it's acceptable by you having your own opinion, but you can also stay over there. I don't want you in my life. I don't want you in my circle.
Right.
I want nothing to do with it.
Perfect.
And I'm not going to start an altercation if they do say that. Like, I will never start the fight, but I will cut it off. If that's your opinion, cool. Yeah. You sit over there. I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, yeah. And this is this weird place we're in America right now, and I hate it. I hate it because I feel like maybe, I don't know, probably everybody has this like nostalgia for the past. But I feel like at some point in the past, Americans were a little bit better at being like, dude, I'm not you. I disagree with everything you are, but it's cool. Yeah, you sit over there and you be you, and I'll sit over here and I be me. But now there seems to be this thing where it's like, no, I'm going to get in your face and tell you how you should be, and you're going to get in my face and tell me how I should be, and we're all going to fucking judge each other and get right up in each other's grill. And I see it on the right, I see it on the left, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, dude, grow up. If you hate somebody that much, just don't talk to them.
That's what drives me insane. Like, that's on both sides. I don't know why people have to constantly shove their views down somebody's throat. On both sides. I see it all the time, and it drives me insane because I have my own beliefs on everything, and it might not agree with yours, so I'm going to classy exit my way out of your life because I don't need to be there. You don't like me. I don't like you. I gotta go, kind of thing. Like, I don't need to try and convince you that you're wrong because I already know you're wrong, so I'm going to keep myself out of it.
Yeah. Now, here's the defining factor. Would you take a tip from a guy with a MAGA hat on?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yes, money is money.
Money talks, right?
Money is money, and I will gladly
High
take
five.
it.
Yeah, fucking money talks.
There's a venue in Orange County. Well, used to be. They sold it. That the owner was a very proud Trump supporter, and a lot of queens wouldn't work there because of that. I see it as I am taking money away from Trump. She's not donating it to him. It's going to me. So I will gladly work there. Not supporting her business, but taking her money away from him. So, yes, money talks, and I would gladly do it. And she'd feed us, too. I'll take food.
Yeah, well, and there's this thing, right, is like, once you get to know somebody personally, once you know somebody's story, it's so much harder to hate them. There's no chance that anybody who hates drag queens has made it this far an hour into the episode, but I promise you, somebody who's on the fence who's like, oh, I'm just learning this gal's story, and, maybe we'd be friends when he's dressed as a dude. Maybe we'd be friends when he's dressed as like, once you know somebody's story, it's really hard to hate them. If you get to know somebody who you would disagree with or feel negative about, it's like, you can't hate somebody once you know their story.
Well, and it cracks me up because a lot of people hate that I do drag and yet love that I have like a Harry Potter tattoo.
Wait, who hates that you do drag and loves that you have a Harry Potter tattoo? I'm confused by this.
You'd be freaking... It's shocking. But like... people not understanding that my job's my job and then not realizing that we have so many things in common. So Star Wars, Harry Potter, pop culture things, music. Earth, Wind & Fire is one of my favorite bands. Like, I like to cook, so good. I got to see them at Red Rocks in Denver. The best.
Nice.
But I lost my train of thought.
We're talking about how can somebody love your Harry Potter tattoo but hate the fact that you do drag?
Because it's just their weird belief system that they think that drag is a sin, which I'm like, if this is sinful, I'm the devil, baby. Like, that's fine.
So wait, these people that love, they obviously get to know you well enough that they see the Harry Potter tattoo, or you got a Led Zeppelin tattoo on your other.
For Charmed, the TV
Charmed.
show.
Okay. No, it's also on a Led Zeppelin album cover. But so people at least get to know you well enough to know that, and then what, you hit them with the fact that, oh yeah, my job is I dress up as women, and that's a bridge too far?
Yeah, because they don't understand that it's a job. They think it's a lifestyle, and they don't believe in trans people. And then it becomes a problem that they don't believe in that. And so then my job, then they think I'm trans, and it turns into this weird circle of stupid.
How can they not believe in trans people? Like, they exist.
Oh, it's a choice. It's a choice. I'm like, bitch, do you really think that they would choose to be ostracized that aggressively?
Well, even if it's a choice, I choose to drive a Dodge instead of a Ford.
How dare you?
Doesn't mean that it's not happening.
Right.
It's interesting. I know you are not trans, but you're obviously more closely intertwined with this community than I am. I have listened to a few podcasts recently, and they're more conservative podcasts that you may agree or disagree with. I think there is a difference between adults making a decision, and I do think there's some weird stuff going on in the child world, preteen world, where, I don't know, maybe there's a 9-year-old out there that knows that they really want to be a girl, but there is a weird thing happening where there's stuff going on in the medical community where they're like, oh yeah, you're 9 years old and you think you're a girl, we should transition you. And I'm like, it's a little early maybe to be like physically transitioning people.
Well, nowhere are they actually medically transitioning children. My niece is 11 and was born my nephew. So I have a little trans niece.
Okay.
And when they're that young, especially with like puberty and social things going on, they aren't doing anything medical until about 15.
Okay.
But they're doing a lot of therapy in that time span to really make sure that's what's going on, getting her brain set and ready if that's what she's actually going to be, or if, and I know I'm going to get called out for this, or if it's a phase. I only say that because she grew up watching me getting ready for shows. So she potentially could be mildly confused on what her actual identifier is, but I think she is the little girl that she is. My sister lets her dress as a female, uses her pronouns, go to therapy. There's nothing medical that is happening and won't happen until about 15 is when that starts.
Yeah, it's interesting. You mentioned going through a phase, and I'm sure there's some hardcore trans activists, not that I think they would be watching this show, but that would say there is no such thing as a phase. If you're 5 and you are a boy and you identify as a woman, that's just the way, or as a girl, that's the way it should be. But I do think there's a difference between a 7, 8, 9, 10, 12-year-old being like, oh, I'm confused. I'm going through puberty. I think every human being is confused by puberty. I was like, one day I woke up and there's like, oh, that's weird. My dick is hard and I have hair on it. But I think there's that. And then there's the difference of like, oh, freshman year of college, you start making out with somebody of the same sex. Yeah, you're likely gay. Like, I knew at 19 that I didn't want to be with men, so nobody could have convinced me like, this sleeping with women thing, this is just a phase. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure this is what I'm into. So yeah, it's interesting. And I forget where we were going with that whole conversation. Oh, people getting to know you. So are these people that get to know you and then they find out that you do drag and they're upset? Are they people that are gay, straight?
Straight.
Okay. Are there any gay people that are against drag?
That's a funny topic.
Have we hit the off limits button here?
Oh God, no, I don't have anything off limits.
Perfect.
We could talk about my tuck and I don't even care.
Perfect.
I have a very difficult time dating because there's a lot of gay men that don't want to date a drag queen.
I get that.
Which is funny because I almost never leave the bar with any ounce of drag on. I'm like clean washed. I'm back in boy clothes. They don't fully understand that it's just a job. So I have a hard time dating. A lot of people, gay men, don't fully understand that. And there's also the stigma of drag queens being uber dramatic and constantly something happening and being a little overly effeminate. And that could be a turnoff for some people. And it's very difficult. I've been single for 5 years. I've been single almost the entire time that I've lived in California. And for a while it bothered me, but now I'm like, no, I really like myself, so fuck off. But yeah, it's dating is very difficult in drag.
I can understand that because I wouldn't be able to date a stripper, even if the stripper's like, hey, this is just my job. I make tips. I don't go home with the guys. I don't touch them in an appropriate way. There's no way my ego would be too hurt by that to date a stripper. And I'll tell you, I had a wonderful relationship with a girl who I'm still close with, and I love her stepfather. We talk almost every other day. But she wanted to be a police officer. And I'm like, yeah, I did not have the ego or the emotional fortitude or the maturity to be like, yes, I can be married to a police officer who's hanging out with dudes all day in an alpha environment, in a job where there's 3% women and 97% men, and they're just all trying to sleep with her. Like, I wasn't emotionally mature enough to deal with that. So I totally understand how if I was gay, I'd be like, sorry, Volta, I'm taking a pass because, like, you're around a bunch of dudes that are trying to take you home every night. I don't think I can handle that.
And ironically, I wouldn't date another drag queen.
Yeah, see, there we go.
You're not wearing my clothes. I had them made for me. And there's a little bit of competition there that could be detrimental to the actual relationship. And it's just a difficult job to do emotionally. It is very draining. So I'm like, I don't need 2 of me running around the house. Like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. I was married previously, and my ex-wife, lovely human being. When I made the joke about my ex, I was talking about an ex-girlfriend, not my ex-wife. My ex-wife was a lovely human being, but she worked with special needs kids, and it was so draining. And then my job was so draining that by the time we got home at night, the marriage was almost destined to fail because nobody had any energy to put into the relationship. So I can only imagine, like you said, when you go on stage, when you're in a show or you're hosting, you're at a fucking level 10. What energy does that leave for your significant other when you get home at night?
Oh yeah, it was at least my last relationship. Drag was definitely a large point of contention, because there is a certain amount of loose flirting that goes into drag in joking ways, but he hated that. He never wanted to go to shows because he sees my number, so he doesn't really care. And I would always tell him, like, don't come. Like, I don't need you there. And he's like, well, I want to protect you. And I'm like, do you see how big I am? Like, I'm fine.
There's plenty of people that need protecting. You're probably not one of them.
No, not at all. Like, I got it. I'm good. But it was a very large issue. And which was funny because he was going to college to be a dancer. So I'm like, you should understand this. But it was a very odd thing, which that's why I'm single now.
And, this is interesting to me because I'm guessing somebody much smarter than me with a lot more experience and background in this has done the research on what are the differences between gay relationships and straight relationships. I'm guessing there's some difference.
Oh, yeah, ours are more fun.
Yours are more fun, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Side note, I've always thought about there's not a single super close male friend that I have where we haven't got into a physical altercation. Like, dudes just, at some point they get mad, they punch each other, and I'm like, wow, if I was in an emotional, physical relationship where if somebody really pissed me off, I can't hit my wife. That's just not acceptable. And I would go to jail. And it's not the right thing to do. But if I was gay and there was another dude that was like, if you were my partner and I was like, this is a big dude, 6'1", he can protect himself. If we really get into it, we're going to throw down. I just find that so freeing that I could get into a physical altercation with somebody who I love. I don't know. This is really weird.
What kind of psychotic, toxic masculinity is that? Oh, I'm just going to punch him in the face and we're going to call it a day. Like,
no, every male friend I have that I'm very close with at some point growing up, I'm talking about when you're in your teens or you're in your 20s.
Oh, so this isn't like last week.
No, this isn't like last week.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, the jujitsu thing, maybe.
Oh, yeah, the jujitsu thing. That's controlled anger. But, my best friend growing up, Robert, Chris's older brother, we had at least 3 physical altercations where you're like trying to find those boundaries and you're like friends, but then you hate each other. And then there's this jealousy thing going on and there's some competition. We ended up throwing down and fighting. I'm like, I wonder if we were in a relationship, if that would happen.
Why are you hitting people?
I don't know. It's just it's a dude thing. I think guys are trying to learn their boundaries when they're growing up, and like you end up getting in physical altercations.
This is some like Neanderthal pissing contest bullshit.
Totally. I got in a physical altercation with the guy who ended up being my best friend in the Army. Like we were just like butting heads, and we got in a fight, and then after the fight, we were like best friends. Does this not happen in the gay community? Do gay men not fight each other and then become best friends?
Not like that.
Yeah. No, this happens a lot in the straight community where men just fight with each other and then they like shake it off, have a beer, and become good friends.
I feel like we get bashed too frequently that we just don't hit each other because we get hit by everybody else.
Fair.
So.
That sucks. That sucks, by the way. I'm very sad to hear that. Anyway, okay, back to the relationship. So is there a point in the future where you'll say, maybe I value being in a relationship more than I value doing drag?
If I have to change my occupation for someone, it's not worth it. If that is a contender in the relationship, then that's stupid and childish. So I wouldn't. I mean, I will eventually at some point end up stopping doing drag, I'm assuming. I'm not going to be like an 85-year-old queen.
Why not?
Arthritis. I'm just not about to do that. Vodka gives me heartburn. But no, I'm not going to change my job just because somebody doesn't like it, just for some good dick. Like, no, I'm not about to do that.
But what if you fell in love of your life? This is the dude I want to spend the rest of my life with. And he just finally said, it makes me really uncomfortable. Can he get a job at JP Morgan and work at a bank?
No, it wouldn't be true love if that was a thing. If there were stipulations to it, then no.
Okay, fair enough.
If it was like, I want you to quit smoking, that's different. But
if my wife told me to stop smoking cigars, we might have a problem.
Right. But it's also not good for you. It's not
fair enough.
It smells bad. It's a whole thing. I get it. if me wearing this gorgeous dress and wearing these fabulous lashes and entertaining the masses and bringing joy to other people is a problem for you, then you have internal issues and you need to deal with that yourself.
So how do we find you a dude that's okay with you being a drag queen?
I don't know. The Craigslist like men for man section's gone, so I don't fucking know.
Yeah, Craigslist really ruined it for a lot of people, huh?
Really did. I don't need another person. I mean, I'd love to be in a relationship, but it's not like tip top on my list. I'm more worried about what I'm going to eat today instead of a guy. I mean, I've been single for 5 years. If I really had a problem with it, I would have changed it by now.
Yeah. Do you want to find somebody?
Yeah. Yeah. But I see all of my friends in relationships, and I'm like, that's exhausting. That's obnoxious. I ain't dealing with that shit. Like, almost everybody around me is in a relationship that just sounds exhausting. And I'm like, I'm not about to put that kind of energy or irritation for myself when I'm perfectly fine by myself.
Fair. You want to have kids?
No. No. God, no. I have 5 nieces and nephews, and that is plenty for me. I hate kids. I really do.
Fair enough. You know, so it's interesting. So I would guess most straight males like myself, their total experience with the drag queen world is either, you know, To Wong Fu with Love, the Wesley Snipes / Patrick Swayze drag queen movie, or with somebody like RuPaul. So where is the national consciousness of drag queens? And then like, where are you? I don't mean to make this sound derogatory, but where are you in the pecking order of of drag queens? If we're just talking about the economics of it and the showmanship and stuff like that.
I'm definitely considered a local queen because most of the shows that I do are local based. They're in Southern California. I do every once in a while, pre-COVID, get booked in Vegas and Colorado just because I know people.
So you're like a regional queen.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And in the drag community itself, we all kind of know each other. Like if we're all at least working, we all kind of know each other through social media because we all kind of keep tabs. And with RuPaul's Drag Race, we kind of watch each other to see like who's going to get on next kind of thing. So we all kind of know each other. But yeah, I guess I would be more, regional because I do some in Colorado because I'm from there. And then Vegas is just in between and it's easy to get a job there. But yeah, otherwise I'm local.
So you mentioned RuPaul Drag Race. For people that don't know what that is, explain.
It is a drag competition show that's now on VH1. It used to be on Logo, but I think VH1, like Viacom, bought Logo or something. And so now it's on VH1.
And Logo is?
It's a gay TV network.
Perfect. Not quite my demographic, but thank you.
Yes, which is funny because they show us like a bunch of straight shows. I mean, gay iconic, so like Absolutely Fabulous and shows like that. Golden Girls is on there frequently. But otherwise, they have a lot of gay storyline based movies and TV shows and other reality shows that are on there. So RuPaul's Drag Race is like one of the main staples that started on Logo that's now on VH1. That's a drag competition. It's putting together looks, sewing things, acting competition or acting challenges, singing challenges, things that in the normal drag world for like a local queen, we do for the most part. These acting challenges we don't really do, and some of the singing stuff, I don't sing live anymore. I get charged with animal cruelty if I sing live, so I don't do that. But yeah, it's a whole show based around drag, and if you get on the show, you instantly become internationally known, really, because it's shown in many, many countries. So once you're on that show, you're set, you're golden, your performance fee, like I was talking about at the beginning, skyrockets to the thousands easily.
Nice. And you know, it's funny. It's kind of the way you're describing it. It reminds me of like golf or tennis or something, right? So if Tiger Woods walked in here, one of the top 2 golfers in the world, I would know who they are. If RuPaul walked in here, I would know who she is. And I'm guessing, much like professional sports, 99% of the revenue or 90% of the revenue is at the top 1% of the food chain. Is that a fair assessment?
Oh, absolutely.
Or is there a big working class group of girls that are dragging?
Dragging,
is that the right term? What is the term? Queening? Dragging? What is the term?
Dragging works.
Dragging works. Okay, fair enough.
Dragging that shit behind you. You've seen my duffel bags. What was the question again?
Does all the money go to the top 1%?
For the most part, yes. Their booking fees go up much higher. People want to see them more because they are now reality TV stars. They're no longer just drag queens. They're a TV personality. So their events or the ticket sales are insanely high. The money they make is so much higher. People tend to make costumes and wigs and stuff for them for discounted rates for exposure purposes. So if I want to buy the same wig that RuPaul's wearing, RuPaul probably had it donated to her for exposure. I'm going to pay $600 for it.
For a wig?
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I think the most expensive wig I've ever seen was like $5,000 because it was all human hair.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
So let's go through the costs. What is like a dress, a rack, a wig? Like, what do these things cost?
So the face alone, let's just talk about makeup itself. I always say, which it's not really accurate. I would say my face costs about $25 alone with products broken down into percentages for how much I use in one get-go would probably be $25.
And those epic lashes that my wife was very jealous of when you walked in here.
And these aren't even my big ones. These are like my demure ones.
Nice.
Which lashes are pretty cheap. I think these are like $3.99 or something. But my foundation is $65. My lips are... And my lipstick, I don't have like any surgical anything done, but my lipstick was like $35-$40 for like the tube of stuff. Wigs can go from, you can get some Amazon ones for like $30 that are fine. If you know how to style them, it can be better, to in the thousands. If they're human hair, if they're extreme density synthetic, so they have like a lot of hair to it, they can be in the thousands, in the hundreds. They can be really expensive. Costumes and dresses depends on where you get them. Some people are fine with buying off the rack. That's kind of frowned upon. You don't want to look like Forever 21 when you're like 35. But like this dress was, I think, $75, and it's super cheap considering what it is. Shoes are a very fickle mistress since guys don't have female-sized feet. We normally have to like special order them, and there's companies that specialize in large female shoes. I luckily enough am like a size 11 in women, so I can go like Ross and be fine with like a clear pump. But those can be pretty fucking expensive.
Do they make red bottoms in men's sizes? I'm guessing.
Louboutins go up to I think a 12
in women's, which is like a 8 or 9 in men's. I think. I'm trying to do the conversion from like when I buy Vans shoes for my wife. I think my wife's like a 9 in women's and like a 7 in men's or something.
I think it's something like that. Something like that.
So like what size in men's do you wear?
I don't know.
Oh my God. This is the best conversation ever.
I haven't bought shoes for men. I haven't bought Teddy shoes in years.
Oh my goodness. This is amazing that you don't even know what size shoe you are in men's. This is amazing.
I think I'm at 12.
Okay. All right.
Maybe.
So
I don't know.
So you get a custom order with these women's shoes, obviously.
Usually, yeah.
Brutal. Mm-hmm. Okay. Man, this gets expensive.
Oh, it's insane. And then that's just on the outside. There's all the undergarments that go with it. So, I mean, bras are cheap as shit. My tits are, they're these silicone inserts that actually have like a nipple to them that actually wrap in a compression sock. So it's like a nude color, mainly because I like to throw my tits at people, and it broke. So I was like, let's just not lose silicone everywhere. But those are like $85. Today I'm only wearing one corset, but normally I wear 2, and corsets are like $35. And then there's the tights and the pads and everything to give me like feminine hips and everything. And I think my pads were like $45. And
so you have pads on the outside of your hips to make you more of a pear-shaped woman?
Yes.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah, so I have a corset on to make me thinner because quarantine has fucking got this gut. And then I have hip pads on to give me that hourglass figure.
Wow. And because you said nothing is off limits, let's just go there. Is there anything happening down below? Do you wear compression shorts? Do you...
How about you? How's your dick?
Well, it's hanging slightly to the left as it normally does.
Well, mine's now hanging slightly to the back.
Slightly to the... Oh, so there is a tuck and tape type situation going on, or there's pants for that, or...
I don't duct tape nothing like that. I mean, so there's 2 ways to tuck. Let me just chug some of this real quick for this conversation.
Yeah, this is definitely the not safe for work conversation. So if your kids are listening to this, you already screwed up. So,
you're far too deep now.
Yeah, far too deep now. But let's go.
So there's 2 ways you can tuck. There is there's a socket that your testicles descend from when you're a child that are still there as an adult. So you can push your testicles back into your body.
Shut the fuck up.
You've never had that, like, while you masturbate and one, like, pops back in and you're like, wow. You've never had that happen?
No. So there's a socket.
You are not masturbating hard enough then.
you can push them back up into your body.
Yes. And so then you would pull all the rest of your junk to the back.
Doesn't that hurt?
You get kind of used to it.
Oh, my God. I mean, I kind of feel like I should try this tonight, but
I think you should.
Oh, my God. Okay, we'll have to have a few more drinks. But, okay, so you can socket them back in.
Socket back in, and then... the sack in your shaft, you just pull to the back and you can just duct tape all that down. And it's nice, a tight little pussy. I don't tape nothing, and I'm not sticking anything back up inside of me because one side I had a hernia when I was younger, so I have like one of those mesh inserts in there. So I can't on one side. So I just pull everything back, and I have layers of like tight undergarments that prevent it from popping out.
So I'm thinking of the jiu-jitsu thing because they sell these like compression shorts to make sure that your stuff's all kind of tight in there because it kind of hurts when some dude just elbows you in the junk when you're rolling around. So maybe, but before you leave tonight, I'll give you a pair of my jiu-jitsu compression shorts and you can see if those do a little bit of the trick.
That would be very entertaining. I used to use a dance belt, which didn't actually do the trick at all. A dance belt is like a male thong that dancers use to kind of mute the bulge for when you're in tights and stuff.
Stabilize.
Yes, and make it look a little less graphic. So I tried that when I was younger. That just didn't work. So I wear about 3 layers of. They're actually, you can buy them at like any like mall store that sells kind of club garments, and it's meant for women that has like booty implant things that are like built into the underwear.
I've seen these.
So I have like 2 pairs of those that I just like stick on, pull everything back, and hike them up, and then pray that nothing moves.
Nice. The only thing I can think of more painful than this is, I don't know if you've ever heard that Thai fighters, like these guys that do Thai kickboxing and Muay Thai kickboxing, they're trying to knee each other in the junk for pain. And so they have this like metal cup, like an athletic protector that they put on. But then to make sure it's nice and tight, they tuck all their stuff in there and then they tie it with like twine up their butt crack. So it's like, just imagine having like bungee cord or twine up your butt crack, holding everything back in place so that if you get kneed or kicked in the nuts, it doesn't hurt as much. And that sounds horrible.
It's about the same, a little less aggressive.
Oh, goodness. Oh, man. You should get tipped more than dollar bills for that.
I know.
The guy should be pulling out 5s just for that amount of effort.
I know.
So going back to the economics, getting away from the tucking, is there a plan? Like, do you have a career progression? Like, hey, I really want to get to this point and this point, and then I got to meet this producer to get on the RuPaul show. Like, is there a career progression, or you're like, hey, I'm pretty happy what I'm doing the regional gig?
There's always a progression that I would like to be reaching. Since everything's very social media based to begin with, like I have a YouTube channel that is not going anywhere at the moment because I'm just not really focusing on it, but trying to make content for that to get bigger and monetized. Keeping the shows that I do have once quarantine's over, I have a lot of loyalty to those shows, so I will definitely stick with them. When it comes to like really long term, I would love to get on RuPaul's Drag Race because it does skyrocket you immediately. But I'm also not holding my breath because there is a lot of politics that go along with just getting on, and the audition process is kind of grueling, and the way the storyboard people and the editors of the show could really kind of ruin your career if they decide to make you the villain of the show. And we've seen that multiple times on the show that queens have gone on, and just the way they edit it alone makes them non-desirable. So then they don't end up getting booked after RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh.
But
career suicide.
I'd like to be on there.
There you go. Well, maybe one of my, clients in another world in the other business I do is a producer, director, talent agent or something, and they'll find you. That would be awesome if you got some type of career boost because of this silly podcast.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. I'd be like, look at that. Didn't expect
You're
that.
Like, I went on this libertarian podcast where there's a bunch of dudes expecting to talk about guns, and somehow it got across the table of somebody who does RuPaul's Drag Race. And so what would that, like, what's the step between there and here? So where you're at today, like, what's the next kind of plateau for you or venue or show? I'm thinking of my musician friends where it's like, well, first you do a pay-to-play show where you have to sell tickets and you have to pay people to come see you at the Whiskey. And then, like, they let you play for free. And then they pay you to play. And then you play a bigger venue. So, like, what's your next venue that you're like, oh, I really want to do this?
I don't really know exactly. I think getting more nationally known would be the next step. So being able to travel to other cities and performing in their venues and just getting my name out there. And actually being able to not have to pay for myself to go and travel and perform and have people pay me to be there would be kind of the next step once everything frees and opens up. It's not exactly hard to do. You just have to know who to talk to and how to get in there. And provide good enough entertainment that they want you to be there and people want to come and see you. So hopefully, once all this frees up, I can travel and do it. That'd be fun. And then eventually get on Drag Race if I ever get there.
Yeah, it's so funny. Just the other day, we did a podcast with my friend Mike Eaton, who's he's a comedian. He's a working comedian. And I use that term loosely because at the lower level comedian shows, comic shows, you're getting paid $5, $20. Hey, we'll give you $20 and 2 free drinks to come do a 20-minute set. You know, it feels like any struggling artist job, drag queen, comedian, musician, artist, it's all the same shit, right? It's all the same hustle.
Oh yeah, because it's all nightlife based. Everything it's all in the same umbrella category of nightlife stuff. And in the drag community, we definitely joke about the 2-drink ticket pay. And we made a joke about this last stimulus check being $600 and being like, the government's, here's 2 drink tickets. Like, thanks a lot.
Total drink
That's
ticket
real
stimulus.
helpful.
You're like, I can't even pay half my rent in California with $600.
Right. So we always joke about that. But the joke of the 2-drink ticket thing is extremely real. It happens at every bar. That part of your pay is 2 free drinks. And I'm like, cool, that's not even a buzz. That's breakfast.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because we were originally going to schedule this podcast to do during the day, and you were like, ooh, drag during day. That's not a good look.
Daytime drag ain't pretty. Also, since I do live so far from here, I was like, I'm not about to get in drag at 7 o'clock to drive 2 hours to day drink in a guy's garage.
I mean, it sounds kind of hot to me if I'm telling you the truth, right?
Well, I mean, I've had a couple fantasies, but I wasn't going to tell anybody about them.
That's amazing. So what about, I'm interested in this. Does the patronage or does the type of attendees for these shows, does they change at different levels? So is it like, if you go to a RuPaul show in Vegas, is it a bunch of straight dudes that are there or straight girls there that it's kind of like novelty? Or is it the same type of cast of characters that are in the audience as you go up the scale?
The Drag Race shows definitely have more of a novelty to them. So it is definitely more of a straight, mainly female clientele that goes because it's no longer local drag. It's no longer kind of based on your art. I'm seeing a celebrity.
Interesting.
So they're paying extra to see these people that were on TV. And I've actually never gone to one of their full shows, but I see them on YouTube and stuff. And they're not doing anything exactly different than what I'm doing. Their production value is a bit higher because they have a budget, but they're lip syncing, they're dancing, and they're wearing dresses. They're doing exactly what I'm doing and getting paid quadruple.
So if there's somebody who would take a chance and go see a RuPaul show for $200 in Vegas, just pay $20 to come to what are a couple of the venues that you perform at that we could promote?
So I have Shell Shocked, which is my show at the Bullet Bar every first and third Wednesday of the month. And there's not a cover. It's free. You just come to the bar and drink and then tip us. We don't want to have a cover for that because we want you to just come and have fun and enjoy the show. We do highly suggest that you should tip because we are providing this free show, but we don't charge for that. My burlesque show, it's like a $10 cover, and that's at the American Legion Lodge in Lancaster, which also makes it 10 times more awkward that I'm at American Legion Post in Lancaster.
This is amazing. Okay, so I've got so many stories to share with you. You may be surprised to know that I'm probably one of the few straight dudes that's been to the Bullet Bar, which is a little hole-in-the-wall gay bar in Burbank, California, North Hollywood, California, depending on who you're asking.
What side of the street you're on.
What side of the street you're on, exactly. Because one of the realtors I used to work with was a bartender there, surprisingly gay. And he's like, yeah, you should come by,
gay?
man. Gay, crazy.
There's gay people
bar.
in here?
What? A gay bartender at a gay bar? And he was like, yeah, you should swing by. I'm a bartender here. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I don't care. And then I walked in. I was like, interesting. Okay. Not my normal kind of bar. And then I'll never forget, I went to the restroom and, locked the door and I'm peeing. And some dude just, boom, as hard as you can imagine to the door. And I was like, whoa. So I finished peeing, opened the door. I'm like, excuse me? And he's like, sorry, man. 15 years coming to this bar. Never had anybody lock the men's room. And I was like, oh, sorry. Taboo, I guess. So yes, I've been to the Bullet Bar, so I have to come see one of your shows there. I don't know if my buddy Steve is still a bartender there.
He is not.
He is not. Oh, bummer. All right. Well, we'll have to come by for. They had like $5 pitchers of Coors Light.
It's cheap as shit.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is so cheap. Like I usually drink like vodka Sprites, but if I do like a vodka Red Bull, if I'm feeling a little tired, they're like maybe $5.50, $6. When you could go to WeHo and it's like $27.
I'm gonna grab my buddy Dan and Kurt and a couple other guys. We'll come over and see your next show, so we'll come by for sure. And then Yeah, so if you're the type of person that would go to a Vegas show as novelty, don't pay, come for free to the Bullet Bar, tip a few bucks to to Volta and enjoy the show. I want to go to Chris, our trusty Jamie over here,
our Vanna White.
Our Vanna White. Chris, what is the fascination for you seeing the drag shows? Because I know you go, I know you're a gay man, but like, what's fascinating to you to go check these out?
Well, I'm not really fascinated by drag. I go to the drag shows because my friends are all at the drag show. So, and also I like to support them because half my friends are performing in the show. So, it's just a way to support my friends and also hang out with them.
It really is community based for you.
Yeah, totally, 100%. Like, I had zero interest in drag before the shows at the Bullet even started, and then eventually, I think it took me about a year. They actually became a draw where I wanted to show up and be there. Like, there were nights that I did not want to show up, just because I was tired, but there I was, and then I was an awesome employee at work the very next day.
Nice, yeah. Oh no, I remember there was many drag shows that Chris would attend where the next day he was a worthless employee, and I was like, oh man, come on, dude, you got to wake up. I think we finally found Chris's gig. It's like doing this nighttime thing, creative outlet to edit the videos. That's his shtick.
Oh yeah, I definitely, as I was saying earlier, I push liquor sales. So if you're going to be at my show, you're going to get drunk.
Perfect. So, all right, now I want to talk about the gossipy stuff. What are the politics of drag? Like, are there cat fights going in the back? Like, you stole somebody's wig? Like, tell me some of the gossip. Tell me some of the behind the scenes, dirty shit that, like, you're going to get in trouble for.
God, there's so much. Where to even start?
Let's go. We got as much time as we want. We're drinking. We're smoking. You're crashing out at my house because I don't want you to have to drink and drive.
God, 2-hour drive back. Well, before we do that, let's do a cheers. I'll give you one of my show cheerses that I like to do. Roses are red. Violets are twisted. Bend over, sweetheart. You're about to get fisted. Cheers.
That's a good one. I'm glad I'm a couple drinks deep.
I've been to jail before. I know how it works.
Our entire conservative audience just checked out. We have 3 listeners now, but that's fine. All right.
You're welcome, kids.
So go ahead. What are some crazy politics?
Well, back in the day, things that would happen if a queen and another queen got into a fight, some of the things that would happen is they would cut up their wigs or they would pee in their wigs was like repercussions of
if you're
crossing
peeing
people.
each other's wigs, my story is about fighting my best friend. Not weird anymore. Because I never peed in like some dude's uniform when I was in the Army.
Well, you're missing out. It's fun.
All right. Next time somebody pisses me off, I'm peeing on their clothes.
It's so like oddly offensive. You're like, how dare you? That doesn't really exactly happen very much anymore. But nowadays, certain things that are dramatic that happen. If a girl, like, and by girl I mean queen, is running a show at a bar and the owner or the management want to change whoever runs the show, and whoever takes it tends to have quite a lot of backlash for quote unquote stealing the show. And that's a fun point of contention that I love to see. One of my favorite little bits of drama is that a queen will perform a number and has deemed that her number. So if another girl lip syncs that song at somewhere else, it's an odd faux pas that's not real by any means. But like I do an Annie Lennox number that I'm very proud of and I really love it. And if anybody ever does Sweet Dreams by the Eurythmics, I'm like oddly perturbed. I'm like, no, that's my song.
I was just going to ask, are you talking about an Annie Lennox song or a Eurythmics song?
Eurythmics.
It's a little different. Okay, there we go. Nice.
But like that's a interesting thing, especially if somebody works on like the actual human impersonation. So if they're trying to look like Annie Lennox and somebody else also tries, there's like, it's like not okay.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can't have 2 Marilyn Monroes at the same show, right?
You can't. And it's even in like the lineup of songs that you're doing for a show, you obviously can't do the same numbers. So if somebody turns in a song that somebody else is already doing, you're shit out of luck. And if your song's in somebody else's mix, you better get your music in faster because we're not playing the same song twice in one night.
No chance.
Not going to happen.
It's like stealing somebody's joke, right? Like if you're a comedian and you steal somebody's joke, you're just blacklisted for the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah. That's aggressive. Stealing is something that happens not as frequently as you'd think, but it does happen in like the dressing area.
Wait, stealing like somebody steals your tits?
Tits, wigs, tips, has happened. I've had a couple wigs stolen. I had a pair of boots stolen. I was like, why? Gross. And
Boots or boobs?
boots.
Boots, yeah. That's weird.
Boobs don't really go missing. Not often. They're usually on you. But that has been a fun thing to deal with as a show producer is if somebody steals something and then I'm held responsible because it's my show. And I'm like, well, you shouldn't have your shit laying around. But also somebody else shouldn't be stealing it. But that's something that can be relatively dramatic.
But if I really got to have those like stiletto white stripper heels that you have and I can't find them in my size, I might be tempted to steal them.
And then if you do, you're going to be blacklisted for a good chunk of time. Because all of us who like run shows, especially in Southern California, we all talk to each other. So if something happens at my show and she's booked somewhere else, I'm telling that producer and being like, she stole from my show. Like, good luck, have fun. And then they're usually not booked anymore. And they get kind of blacklisted for a good chunk of time until somebody decides to give them a chance. But not often. If you steal, you're out.
So that's a good question. What is the working populace? You know, we'll just use LA, which is obviously more progressive, probably has a larger drag queen society than, let's say, Sandusky, Ohio. But what do you think the working populace of professional drag queens that make a living, that are, you know, doing this hustle 2, 3, 4, 5 nights a week after COVID, pre-COVID? Is it 100 people? Is it 1,000 people? Is it 10,000 people?
In LA, at queens that do it full time, I would say maybe there's about 50 of us.
50
that do it full time.
That's so small.
Yeah. And I also kind of think it's a lot because I feel like if you're not running shows, I don't know how you're making money that well to do it full time. Because most of the times when I run the shows, I tend to make more because it is my show and I'm hosting it and I'm on the stage the whole time. So I tend to make more than the other girls just because my face is there the whole time. But if you're not running shows, I don't know how these girls are doing it full time unless they have like a sugar daddy or something, which praise be, but I don't know how they do that.
Interesting. So there's like 50, so I could interview like all of you once a week and I'd get through like all the drag queens in LA in a year.
Those would be the full-time working ones.
We should try this, Chris, we should try this. We should try to get a drag queen a week. This could be like the new thrust of our show.
I'll send you the good ones.
Okay, perfect.
Or the ones that deserve it.
So how many, maybe the number is 0, maybe the number is 49. How many drag queens would I maybe be like shocked to find out they're a man?
Oh, I have no idea. Because there's some that are very passable. And then there's some that aren't passable and people say they are. And I'm like, but do you not see that beard? Like, which don't look at my beard.
Yeah. By the way, is that...
I think what he's asking might be like, is being passable like a goal of a drag queen?
Yeah, like, do you want to be more... how do I phrase this? Do you want people to see you in drag and know that you're still a biological man, or is the goal to get closer and closer to looking like a woman?
For me personally, I like I know that's a guy, but damn, she's pretty.
Right. So you like that juxtaposition of a straight guy or a gay guy seeing you and being like, oh, that's clearly a dude. I see the forearms. I see the jawline. But, you know, he's got his fucking shit together as far as looking like a woman.
Yes.
Okay.
Especially with my drag, I like to be in that the middle ground of like high camp drag. Like
high camp. What does that mean? Define that.
Big hair, the overly exaggerated makeup with all the glitter and all the rhinestones and these lips that are huge and the
we're getting like the
costumes.
C+ drag right now, right? But like if you were on show, hair would be up to here, nails would be out to there, like this. We're getting the toned down version, right? Not
exactly. I really like my particular drag to be relatively vintage and very like 20s, 30s, 40s based. I do have some large wigs, but they're styled in ways that are a classic look. They're not like the giant drag wigs. Like
they're not the beehive craziness.
Yeah, they're not. I can't hide a bomb in them.
Right.
I mean, you can. I mean, we've all seen, what's that fucking movie? Hairspray. The original one with Ricky Lake where she hides, the mom hides the bomb in her beehive.
Yeah, I can't say I saw it, but I trust you.
You're missing how that show is so fucking funny, or that movie is.
Is that the one with John Travolta where he plays?
That's the like redo one.
Oh, okay.
There's an original one that I think was the 90s, and it has Ricky Lake, and it's a John Waters. I think it's a John Waters film, isn't it?
Wait, isn't John Travolta in that one also?
We're gonna have to check.
No,
you're gonna have to do some fact checking here. That's what your job is, Chris.
John Travolta's not in that one. The one who plays Edna, the mom, is Divine. Plays that one.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, and Divine's like a pioneer in the drag world. She 70s, 80s drag queen. that starred in a bunch of movies, that tried her hand in a music career. She really kind of paved the way for mainstream drag before RuPaul did.
Interesting.
A terrifying human being.
So is RuPaul like the GOAT? Is she the greatest of all time? Is she like the Tom Brady of drag? Or is there other people that are better? She just was a better marketer.
She was a better marketer. I think she is very talented. Well, I think she used to be very talented. She now is old enough and built an empire enough that she doesn't have to perform anymore. She only does her shows, and that's great. She's like made of money. She doesn't do her own makeup anymore. She doesn't make her own outfit. She doesn't do her own hair.
Right.
Because she has the money for it, which someday will be me. But she's only the end-all, be-all when it comes to the business side of drag, and not exactly the performance.
Nice. And is she always RuPaul, or does she transition back to Bill or whatever RuPaul's male name is, and is just like hanging out, watching the Patriots, drinking beer and eating pretzels with the guys? Or is she now always RuPaul?
Well, ironically, her biological name is RuPaul Charles.
Oh.
And her drag name is just RuPaul. But outside of drag, she has like this giant farm in Wyoming, Montana?
Yeah, Wyoming.
Like this big old farm with her husband. They like full country hands.
And most of it's leased out to fracking.
Yes.
And they do dude stuff. They're like raising cattle or whatever farmers do.
Yeah.
Oh,
they lead a very normal, homosexual, basic life. And then she turns around, flies to LA, and bada bing, bada boom, is hosting all these shows and doing all this shit.
Fascinating. This is so fascinating to me, and I hope the audience that's watching this is getting something out of it where they're like, oh, this is a whole ecosystem I knew nothing about, because that's kind of the goal of this podcast, is answer weird questions that people just wouldn't ask themselves.
I'm full of answers.
All right, so give me some other gossip or drama in the drag world. Like, when's the last time you were like, I am going to punch this chick because she did X? Oh, you just looked at Chris like he was there.
I don't know what you're about to say.
Not like she'll ever fucking watch it. Okay, so there's this queen in Palm Springs. I'm fully going to call her out on this. I don't give a fuck. She's a bitch. We've been friends
Even
for a
if
long
she does
time.
watch it, I don't think she'll get an hour and 56 minutes in.
Yeah.
She's blonde and an alcoholic. She's not going to get that far. She'll pass out before then. So she, okay, backtracking. So me and this person have been friends for, I don't know, 3 years. Very close. I know literally everything about her for the most part. One day I was getting ready for a show, and my ex that I moved to California with, the one I was talking about that like, he was a dancer. I personally think that we were kind of meant to be together. I'm the one that kind of fucked that up. But we still talk like every day, or at least every week. Sends me a message that he's talking to said queen. And what do I know about her? And I was like, everything. I know everything about her. And I was about to start a show, so I was like, I will talk to you about this after the show. I have to do this. I have to deal with this. And so I do the whole show. I'm dwelling on this entire conversation because I know it's not going to be pretty. And I get through the show, and he just sends me a message. He's like, we talked about it, and we're going to keep things friendly between us to not hurt any of our friendships. And I was like, that's very thoughtful of you guys. That's great. I don't need that by any means. Because the first message that I sent, I was like, if you guys do end up dating, I will excuse myself from this situation. Because that's self-preservation. I don't need to see you two together because I know both of you well enough that I don't want to be put in the middle. So they decide that they're going to not talk anymore. Fast forward a couple days, I find out that they are totally lied to me about it.
Yeah, of course. Come on. I'm straight. I knew that was the case.
Oh, I saw it coming, but I was like waiting for the real proof. And then I saw it. So I was like, cool. So then my ex messages me. He's like, are you mad at me? And I was like, should I be? Like the full 100. And he ends up calling me, and I spew everything about her. I tell him everything she's done. She's not a good person.
And by the way, you're telling your ex, a male, everything that she, a drag queen, has done as a gay male.
Yes.
So it's like there's this weird love triangle squared, right? It's like a triangle squared because two of the three of you at certain times in your life are referred to as a she.
Yeah.
And at certain times in your life are referred to as a he. So there's basically 5 personalities in this weird fucked up love pentagon.
Yes.
Oh, this is fascinating.
So, I finished I say 0 lies. Everything that I said about her is true. Because
doesn't make it right, Volta.
Well, if one of my bestie ex-friends ex-boyfriends or whatever is about to date this person, I'm going to protect him from the monster that I know that she is.
Oh, brutal.
Oh, yes, it was. So he calls it quits with her completely.
But he's really calling it quits with him because he's dating the him, not the...
Correct.
Like your
I
ex
am using weird pronouns for all of you people.
No,
I'm
I
so
love
sorry
it.
about that.
I love it. But your boyfriend is attracted to the man that
Yes.
he is, not the her that she is when she's at work being a drag queen.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah, so, yeah, that.
Yeah, because then my thought immediately goes to like, oh, well, is there gay men who are gay because they like the penis, but they're more attracted to drag queens when they dress up as women because there's still kind of like an attraction to the female?
It tends to be more bisexual and partially straight men that do that.
Oh.
Because it's female presenting, but they still want dick.
That's so weird.
It's super weird.
So there's some straight dudes that are looking at you and like, I like those lashes, I like those lipsticks, but I'm willing to accept that there's some junk below.
It's more of, I like the thought of dick, but don't want to go all the way with a guy, so the female presenting makes it okay in their brain. So then look, the hottest guy I've ever hooked up with was a straight guy that I met at a bar in West Hollywood, and we hooked up in my car. Cool. And his wife was in the hotel room.
Awkward for him, not you, whatever. You get what
Not
you
me,
want.
I left. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, wow. Okay. Whew. It's getting heavy. Okay, so anyway, back to your drama with your ex and the
I didn't think I'd ever be talking about this here.
This is amazing.
So she lives in the house of one of my best friends in Palm Springs that I was talking about that I quarantined there. And I spent like the first 2 months of quarantine there. And so for Christmas and New Year's, I spent it there because I didn't want to spend those 2 holidays alone. And most of this was fully going down over New Year's. And New Year's Eve, we were acting like nothing was going on. I'm fine with that. I'm one of those that, like, if we have beef, let's squash it and move on. Like, yeah, I don't hold grudges.
At the end of the day, you're a dude.
I'm a dude and I don't give a fuck. I don't have that kind of, like, emotional capacity to hold a grudge. It's exhausting. Yeah. So I was fine that we were just, like, chit-chatting like nothing was wrong. The next day, hungover as hell, we're sitting on the couch, we're watching TV, we're having a gay old time. 10 p.m. rolls up, and I get a message from my ex that was like, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Whatever drama she's causing, you were correct, and I don't want to be a part of this. And sends me a screenshot of her calling him out for talking to me and talking shit behind her back.
Awesome. So good.
Well, it's not really shit if you're the one that's doing this. Like, if you're the person that's causing these problems. So then the next morning, I call her out through Messenger, and I'm like, so stop talking shit behind my back. Look at the timeline. This is what happened. And you can also come out of your room and talk to me about this man-to-man right here. She wouldn't do it.
Well, and this is important because back to your point, if there's only 50 working girls, working queens in LA, like, you guys are going to run into each other, right? You got to have these people at your show. You're going to perform on other shows. Like,
well, there's probably like 300 queens in LA.
Okay.
But they have like side jobs too. Got it. There's about 50 full-time queens. Got it. But performing queens, there's 300-400 easily.
Okay, but still, that's a pretty small populace. You know, if I'm a loan officer or I'm a owner of a grocery store or something, if there's only a couple hundred of you in all of LA, which is a pretty big fucking place with however many people in the state, 30 million, you know, you probably got to quash that beef pretty quickly, or else like this could have an impact on your career and where you perform and who performs for you, right?
Oh yes, yeah. And it's very interesting because she likes to spin these web of lies that she likes to do, and all of at least Palm Springs knows that she does this. So she's talking shit about me to people who are going to turn around and tell me. I don't care, really. Like, I mean, it's frustrating because I can't say I didn't do anything wrong. I did spew the beans, but I mean, if it happened, it happened, and I'm trying to protect my friend.
And it's not just your friend. This is your ex, so you kind of still wish maybe it worked out.
Not anymore. We are very different now. Like 5 years is a very long span that
is a long
if
time.
I could go back and fix things then, I would, but I wouldn't date the him now.
Cool.
And he asked me in the conversation, he's like, are you upset about this because I'm dating somebody else? And I was like, when in the past 5 years have I ever been mad about you dating somebody else? It's this particular person that I'm uncomfortable with because I know who and what she is. So, boot. Like, nope. So yeah, she wouldn't come out of her room and talk to me about it. And just continues to talk shit about me. I went back there last weekend to film some numbers, and I brought a little bottle of Fireball, and I handed it to her. I was like, peace offering, because I hate drama like this. Like, I'm like, just snip it and kill it. It's done. And she took it, and then like my bestie friends that live there overheard her in her room talking shit about me and about that peace offering. So I'm like, okay, then we're done. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking about you, except for now. But then it's done. Like, you're no longer a person in my life. Deuces.
So is there any people, this will be fascinating, this will be some weird split personality shit. Is there any people out there who really love Volta but can't stand Teddy, or any people that are really close friends with Teddy who are like, oh man, once you become Volta, you're a fucking bitch. Have a Snickers bar.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
There's some that like me better as Teddy, and then the drag is just too much for them. Like, it's a lot. There's a lot of thing going on. Your personality's a lot louder. And so they don't really hang out with me if I'm doing drag stuff, which is fine. I don't really care. It's a job. Like, if I'm waiting? If I'm a waiter at PF Chang's, you're not going to come and hang out with me. Like, right. I don't give a shit. The other way around, I think it does throw some friends off if they met me as Volta first, and then they hang out with me as Teddy, and they're like, you're kind of boring.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, I am.
Because having this first interaction with you here, and then if I got to know Teddy and you're like, hey, dude, we're going to do some Star Wars cosplay, I'll be like, that's fucking weird. Like,
I feel like I met Volta and ended up liking Teddy better.
Yeah, because you're a little bit more of an introvert. You're a little bit more quiet. Like, it would make sense that you would want to go for like a quiet hike with Teddy versus like
cardio.
Party it up with Volta.
Right. Well, yeah, I forgot. I lost my train of thought.
Volta versus Teddy.
Well, no, yeah, it's just not in my personality to hang out with super over the top people. But you know, Teddy hangs out at the bar as well, so you know, I ended up hanging out. Just, it's a small bar, so eventually you start getting to know everybody, and I'm like, hey, you know, this is a person I actually enjoy hanging out with, and built a friendship out of, which is really hard to do once you're past 30 years old. So it was nice to build a friendship out of that. So, but
our friendship is very interesting because it's very not what you would expect, like, two gay dudes to hang out and do. Like, we like road trips and amusement parks and gambling and like weird games on our phone. Like, it's very oddly mundane, but
yeah, we're two
friendship.
homos that have zero interest in fucking each other. That's
zero.
Like
not a lick.
Zero.
Yeah, I've always been jealous of the gay community because my thought is, like, generally, stereotypically speaking, men maybe have a little bit more of a libido and a little bit more of a sexual drive than women. So I'm like, dude, I'm so jealous of dudes that can just like walk up into a bar and like hook up that night. Like straight men are just used to striking out over and over and over again. And it's like, if I was gay, this might be a little easier.
But to your point, I don't hate Volta. I like Teddy more.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be like, hey, let's go to Knott's Berry Farm. Oh, and by the way, can you like be Volta this time? No, that would be super fucking weird.
But could be a really good time at Knott's Berry Farm.
Oh, we fully have talked about doing like YouTube shit of like me and drag going to like amusement parks and like pottery classes and bungee jumping, like weird shit of me and drag.
No, dude, you got to go way weirder than that. You got to go to like the gun range and drag.
Oh, I'm totally down.
Oh,
I'm
dude,
from Colorado. I'll shoot some shit. I don't give a fuck.
Dude, we should go like pig hunting in drag. We should go to like a Trump rally in drag.
Oh, that I will not.
It would be pretty hilarious.
I'm not going to die.
Hopefully there won't be any more Trump rallies.
I don't think there will be.
But you mentioned earlier about YouTube and how, you know, your channel's not doing anything. I would imagine it's fairly difficult to build a YouTube channel as a drag queen because 90% of your work is doing covers and lip sync. Well, not covers, but lip syncing. And there's a huge issue with demonetization using copywritten material on YouTube right now. So, you know, doing those activities like some of the suggestions Scott just made are really probably a better way for a drag queen to make money on YouTube because you can't really upload your music videos that you're doing for Shell Shocked because YouTube will just delete them fucking immediately.
Oh, yeah. I have a couple that are posted, and luckily, not luckily enough, but I don't have enough of a following on YouTube that they haven't been flagged yet.
Right.
But I do post in the description, like, it's this person singing this, it's their song, I'm just lip syncing it, and they haven't really been flagged yet. But Facebook and Instagram are fucking assholes about it.
Oh,
That's
dude.
why I do all my drag shows and everything on Zoom, because if I do it on Facebook Live or Instagram Live, they're taken down immediately, and then I'm blocked for like 2 days. And I do all of my work on social media.
What about TikTok? Like, don't they have all the licensing rights to all these songs?
They do, but they're only a minute video. Like, it's not.
For most guys, that's all they need.
Oh, I know. I've been to jail. I know how it works. But like with TikTok, it's less about the art of drag and what funny 30-second content you can pump out daily, if not more on a daily basis.
I think you could kill it on TikTok. Like little 30-second to 1 minute. Look, I know a divorce lawyer who's killing it on TikTok, putting up. She has like a couple 100,000 followers, whatever the fuck you call them on TikTok, of her just being like cute little Asian lady doing like songs. And she's like deek 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 deek, and then she like points to these things, and she has like tips come up for divorce. It's the craziest shit. I'm like, what kind of fucking divorce? How does a divorce lawyer become TikTok famous? And you're way more interesting than she is. She's a lovely lady, by the way. So I feel like you should. You should try this TikTok thing.
I do have a TikTok channel, and I do attempt to post as much as I can. The motivation of trying to do that is very difficult when I'm like, what am I going to do for 30 seconds?
I mean, I got some
putting
ideas.
face on for a half an hour to do a 30-second TikTok seems like a pain in the ass.
Well, and that's also the thing is like, I'm not going to waste my makeup to make a 30-second fucking video. Like,
Fair enough.
this shit's expensive. My foundation's Dior. Like,
No, I really feel like we could get some quality videos of like Volta does dude shit. We'll go sit at a cigar bar with a bunch of like conservative, like upper middle class, like.
I can almost guarantee one of them will flirt with me.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So easy. Straight guys are so easy. It's really stupid.
We're going to do that. We're going to go to a gun range. We're going to do like a whole drag queen does dude shit like video series. It's
I'm
going to
down.
be epic.
I'm so in. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, Chris is totally down. So we just took a little bathroom break there, and we'll end on a positive note. But you said something interesting as you were coming back. I was like, oh, we'll finish this up on a positive note, and we'll go smoke another cigar in the back and have a few drinks. And you're like, sweet, cool. I can get back to being a dude again. So tell me about that. Like, you're ready, right? Like, you're done. You've been on stage for a couple hours. Like, you're ready to, like, chill out and go watch The Mandalorian or what?
Oh, well, absolutely. If you have not watched Mandalorian, fucking do that shit. That was fucking good. But yeah, taking everything off is like a therapeutic experience because the corset is just uncomfortable. I'm not wearing heels today because I'm sitting down, so I don't give a shit about that. But usually the heels come off and it's so much more comfortable. Any undergarments that are going on is uncomfortable, so that's nice to take off. And my favorite thing to take off is my fucking lashes. They are so uncomfortable because they're just glued to my eyeballs. So like the second I get to rip those off, it is a new world, I swear.
Yeah, this is like every woman getting out of the club in Vegas. They're like, oh, take the heels off, walk in my bare feet. I get home from the once in a blue moon when my wife and I can go out to a club. She's like, oh, get these clothes off. I just want to put some sweats on and relax.
Oh, yes. It is the best feeling ever to take all that shit off. Oh, it's so good. The lashes, I think, are the most annoying because you have to be able to see. I also wear glasses normally, and I'm out of contacts because I'm fucking poor and can't order contacts at the moment. But so I wear glasses all the time currently, so being able to actually see your face would be nice. All the makeup stuff is just kind of uncomfortable, so being able to take everything off is magical.
That's awesome. So, we did talk about some of the unfortunate stuff, the fact that apparently even in progressive LA, there's still a bunch of homophobic assholes that make gnarly comments. What are the benefits of living this lifestyle? Like, what are the benefits of being a drag queen and this being your chosen profession? Because I've got to imagine there's some good stuff where you probably would have taken a job at the bank or Whole Foods or whatever.
I think one of the best things is that very minor gay celebrity status of it. People love when you're there, and the excitement of you being there and them being excited about it gets me excited. And I love that kind of rush of energy from that. And the joy of like knowing that I was an escape from their day and being able to just make them happy for a little while. Also, I get a lot of free drinks. So yay, free booze. It's my favorite. And usually like the bars that I work at, I have like employee pricing, so it's cheaper, and a lot of people just want me around, so then they'll just buy me drinks, and it's lovely.
So it's just like being a real girl. You get free drinks all night.
For the most part, yeah, usually.
Yeah, if I was a girl, I just feel like I'd be a raving alcoholic. I just sit at bars and like wait for dudes to hit on me and buy me free drinks.
Oh, if I was a real woman, I'd be a fucking slut. I would be a slut. Please, I'd be hoeing that puss around all fucking night. It'd be so easy.
So we're recording this early January of 2021. Obviously, we're about to see an administration change, which will hopefully be good for people in your situation. Hopefully, people chill out a little bit more.
Hopefully, it'll be smooth.
Hopefully, it'll be smooth. I think it will be. Everything's going to be fine. The Republic will persist. And then, the vaccine is coming along. So it seems like we're going to be out of the woods on this COVID thing. What are you optimistic about for 2021? And let's end it on that.
Oh, God. Getting back to work and actually making real money and being able to not be stressed all the time about groceries and bills. And going back to what I love to do and making people smile, making people happy, and performing again. I mean, performing itself is a therapeutic thing for me. I get to emote these songs on stage and kind of work out my own frustrations in front of people while getting paid to do it. And I'd love that I'm able to do that, because when you film the numbers, you're not exactly getting the same form of euphoria that you would as doing it live. So I can't wait to get that back. I can really work out some frustrations just by performing without actually like beating someone senseless. And I'm just excited to be around my friends again and not worry about don't hug me. Like, stay away from me. Like, I can't wait to see my people again and just be able to like chit chat and talk and hug and suck a dick.
Well, I think that's the way to end an interview right there. So I want to say Volta, and then also when you change into your street clothes, Teddy, I really appreciate you being here. When things are back to normal and you can come in more of your slutty drag, we'll have you back and we'll have another conversation, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Thanks.